This to me was more of a like, hey man, we're normal people like you guys are.
I'm not up. I'm drunk. And then when I'm done with that, I put Vaseline actually around the edges. Just ordered somebody. All right, everybody, welcome to Topps Daily Grind. This is episode number 123. Can you believe we've done this far?
No. That's pretty hard to believe.
I'm surprised that Leo still allows this to happen.
Yeah. I thought you would have cut the cord like at 6 or 7.
Yeah, but those were good episodes.
Really.
You know, we've kind of devolved since then.
And
Some of them were good.
No, it went like this. It went Mike.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, we
kind of started with the best there,
we
didn't
peaked really quick.
Yeah, we did.
It's like peak and then...
So we got a guest on today, now that we've just made him feel small. Welcome.
Thank you.
This is Zach,
Maybe we might peak twice.
a.k.a. Zach in the Wild.
Yep.
And welcome to the show.
Appreciate it. Stoked to be here.
Is this considered the wild?
Yeah, this is we're out in the wild right now.
What is
Yeah.
considered the wild? Like,
Yes.
what's normal for you then?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So I've done a lot of work at like desks, right, just at tables. So Zach in the Wild, the idea is doing stuff not at a desk, right? So a lot of traveling, a lot of road tripping. I mean, I'll just literally drive to the coast, East Coast and back just for fun. Just what I do.
So you spend a lot of time at desks, so you would know what a good desk or a good table looks like.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. I would. I feel like I'm a carpenter. I'm a carpenter too. So
No.
This is a really tired old joke. I'm sorry, but just tell us what do you think about this table?
I mean, I think it looks pretty good.
Thanks, Zach. Moving on.
Nice,
Just
nice
look
burn.
We also learned that Zach's a good liar.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good to know.
I mean, I'm from Vegas. I can hustle. So
When you get a minute, just take like a close look at the
was
finish.
convincing.
okay, we'll do. We'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably skip on that.
So, sorry, John. I don't know. I had to bring it up.
But that's cool that he can just like take off and, you know what I mean? Like, because you do YouTube full time now, right?
Yeah. So started doing YouTube full time like 2 months ago. So pretty excited about that. We'll see how it goes. I'm probably just gonna end up working at the mine down in Utah, but
It won't be at a desk.
right now we're having a good time.
Unless they give him a desk at the mine.
Yeah, right.
Oh man, that would suck.
You're going to be sorting coal at this desk.
Right, you're gonna sit at this
Yeah.
desk sorting
Yeah.
coal. Love it.
You can do vlogs in there.
Oh yeah. Vlogs from the mine. I can have you guys on my mine podcast.
You could get like a really sweet TikTok going on.
man.
In there.
Oh
I
yeah,
have some
yeah.
jokes I can't do.
Why?
Let's just move on. Let's just move on.
No?
It's
Trust me.
never stopped you.
Trust. It has today.
Yeah, this is the first time he's ever been
Out of
like, I can't
respect.
say this.
Just let's go.
All right.
That never stopped you with any other guests, especially guests that
I know, but Zach.
Hey, I appreciate it.
He's in the wild, man.
He's in the wild.
So you've only been doing the YouTube full time for 2 months.
2 months. Yeah.
How's that going?
Yeah, I mean, the full time's good. I mean, a lot of stress, right? You get a lot more resting on your shoulders because it's me and Jamie who are doing it. So Jamie's behind the scenes. He's behind the scenes here as well. But he does, he shoots, he does the edits. We come up with all the videos together. So, I've got to feed myself, my family, and Jamie. Well, me and Jamie both have to feed all of that. So we're like, we're figuring it out. So I bought a little house down in Castledale, Utah. And when we decided to make the jump, his lease was up in Utah Valley where we were both living. And we're like, well, we're shooting together all the time anyways. And I was like, well, I have a garage. Do you want to just turn the garage into an apartment? So we're building a garage apartment for Jamie right now.
So you guys
down
are
at the property there.
roommates.
Roommates now, yeah. We moved in together. It's getting serious.
Nice. Is there are there any rings?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
No, nothing yet. We're taking it slow. Taking it slow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gonna try out that living situation for a little bit.
Yeah,
first.
see how that fits us.
Good.
What if you guys argued? You send him to his room?
Yeah.
Yeah,
go
no,
to the
actually,
garage.
funny story. He's like literally living in a room in the house right now. So yeah, I just, if we get in a fight, I just like, Jamie, go to your room for a little while. And
Since he can't slam the door, does he like push the garage door so it closes really fast? Turns up the speed on it.
he's just sitting there with his arms crossed,
Yeah.
angry as it goes down
As it goes down
slowly.
slowly.
I'll show him.
Yeah. Oh, damn.
Is one of those quiet garage doors? Because that'd be even better.
No, we pulled the garage door off. So again, Vegas, I like to hustle. I found a pair of full French doors, frames, everything for $100. Some rich guy up in Jackson Hole. So I found them. I left Provo, Utah at like 6 o'clock at night. I got to that dude at I think I got to him at like midnight. Picked up the doors, threw them in my van, and drove home. So I got them for $100. They're like $3,500 doors.
Dang.
So you just have to build a frame around them?
No, I got the frame. Well, yeah, I have to 2x4 frame it. Yeah. Yeah, that's where we're at. I just ran all the electrical, and now we're getting ready to put the doors on when we get back actually tomorrow. So
Sounds badass.
yeah.
Jackson Hole's probably a gold mine for stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime somebody's remodeling their house, they probably just toss all the other stuff.
Dude, it was wild. Like I showed up and I didn't really know what to expect. The pictures weren't very good. I didn't really know what to expect, you know. And so I show up and like he's got all the hardware. Like if you ever installed a French door, like they got special hinges and the whole thing, right? So he's got all the hardware. He's got keys. He's got everything. And I'm like, $100? He's like, yeah, $100. I just want to get rid of it. I'm like, okay, dude.
Anything else? I would have been like, you trying to
what else?
unload
You
anything?
getting the windows recently?
No, I actually
Like-
asked him. I did. I was like, you guys like replacing any cabinets or anything? And he's like, no, just the door. We put a new one in. I'm like, okay, cool. Like,
There's probably like a camera built into it. So live streaming him on TikTok.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
At least you gotta get like some galaxies and stuff.
Galaxies.
You know how they do the galaxies and then like an alarm goes off and they get up and you never watch TikTok?
Oh, I have, but not
What?
that.
Yeah, I don't know what that
your
is.
feed is weird.
You seen those TikToks where there's people like pretending to be asleep and you give them gifts
Oh,
and
yeah,
different
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
goes off like
Oh,
like
okay.
an alarm clock, lights, and they pretend to be all mad.
You
but
should make
they're
that a
making-
surprise
You
for
should do
Jamie.
that.
yeah, we should do that with Jamie.
It's
But
when
yeah,
you
not tell him.
That's the plan. I'll just start an OnlyFans, so it's subscription only, and you
Yes.
just watch Jamie sleep. And then he just wakes up randomly at night when lights go off.
Yeah. That's news to him apparently.
Right?
Yeah.
OnlyFans is not only for porn, okay?
No, it's not. It's not. You can do lots of stuff on OnlyFans.
It isn't?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I mean,
Well,
That's good to know.
that's what they say. It's like 90-something% porn.
so
I'm
I can
sure.
justify it.
Originally, when they started it, it was for people's fans because I don't know if you guys watch basketball, but the Iman Shumpert, he jumped onto it super early because he wanted a place where he can like connect with his fans. So if they pay, you know, like I guess you can get on there and like start chatting and stuff like that with whoever has a
Yeah.
profile. So that's where it originally started,
Yeah, there was actually a lot of
and
chefs.
it took a hard left.
Yeah, there was a lot of chefs at first too. Like a lot of like chefs that were like sharing recipes and videos on how-tos that you just pay for, right?
And then someone started
then-
getting naked. And
Yeah, and then
my bad.
the first chef got naked, and then it just never was the same.
And now it's like known for that.
But that's the thing with all new technology. That's
yeah.
where it goes first.
To porn?
And that's where it gets better.
Yeah,
So that's where they
I don't know
improve
about
it.
that, but
You have to
For
be able to
example-
handle all the traffic.
no, but
For example, YouTube, like streaming and stuff, it went to porn first, and they perfected it so it was crystal clear. And then everybody else just
yeah, but
went off of that.
they ruined it because you can't be like, hey, what are you doing? Oh, I'm on OnlyFans right now. Like,
yeah.
what are you gonna think?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why not?
Yeah, you can't do it now. There has to be like a non-porn
All
section.
we need
like
is just a
I
few
don't know.
brave people.
That's Patreon. It's Patreon.
Oh, yeah, that's
really.
what-
I mean, that's what it is. You
Oh,
just use
okay.
Patreon.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
even Patreon's going to that.
Patreon
too.
started with it started that way, didn't it?
That's wild. I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
because I signed up to what's his name?
He's plugging his show.
Yeah.
No. The dude that was on Walking Dead, I told you about his
Simone.
his podcast.
Yes.
It's called The Real Ones.
Yes.
John Berthel or whatever.
Yeah, Bernthal
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something
yeah.
like that.
Dude, that,
Bernthal, yeah.
yeah.
And so I watch his podcast, and he puts them on there first, and his are really good. So
Yeah, they are.
I signed up for that, but there's also a porn section.
Because and then like the categories, porn perfected that, and then and now we have
Well, shameless
categories
plug. I've got a family friendly Patreon if anybody wants it.
yeah, we'll check it out. You might get 2 new subscribers.
There we go.
You would think that at some point OnlyFans would set something up to be able to be like, here's the non-porn section of OnlyFans.
Oh no, they're getting paid.
Yeah,
They don't
Well,
care.
of course that. Yeah, I'm
Well,
not saying
they
get rid of
tried,
the porn.
remember?
Because like that's where all their money is. But if they were like, hey, like we do more than porn, and here's like your non-porn section.
It's like OnlyFans After Dark.
yeah.
That's a good name.
You know, or just give it a category. You like
If you owned it, you'd be
this
like,
section is titties and this section
I'm
is
making
no
millions.
titties.
I'm making millions. Like whatever they're doing, like let them keep doing it.
Yeah.
As long as there's no like hate speech, no like.
Yeah, didn't they try to?
They
like,
tried to take it
shut
off, but
down?
everybody got mad.
Yeah.
Well, what happened was they were looking to get outside investors, and so like the financial world, even though those dudes are probably all really scummy anyways,
Oh, big time.
they're like
Subscribers.
on the surface. You know, on the surface they're like, oh no, family values, right? And so when they were looking, I think they were doing a funding round, and basically they're like, you're not going to get any funding if you're doing this type of content.
Yeah.
So they were literally put their creators on notice. They're like, if you're creating explicit content on the website, like you're out in 30 days. But so many people, and I also like OnlyFans probably realized like, oh wait, this is how we make all our money.
Yeah.
yeah,
there was
only
videos-
revenue coming in is from these.
There were
Exactly.
videos on TikTok where like, wait, 97%?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh, okay, never mind.
I would have been like, nah, we're good.
Yeah.
Hey, we don't need your funding.
But see, that's where it all starts, and then it gets better for everybody else. Because like we all, not us, but we,
Hold on. Before you include
No,
everyone.
wait. What's the qualifier? What's the
Yeah, hold
qualifier?
on now.
not on porn, but everybody like likes to look at stuff that where they swear or where like, but you don't want it out in the open where your kids can see by accident.
Yeah, for sure.
And so
Yeah, yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's say this is what it is, and get those types of investors is fine. But like, where they were gonna go to none at all,
Right.
The people were just the content creators were the ones that were gonna lose out on all the money. So they're the ones that made a big deal about it, and they got their fans to make a big deal about it because
Yeah.
How do we
it
get
is
to
what it is.
porn?
It always gets to that.
It was Jamie's OnlyFans.
Oh yeah.
But
Okay.
it was Jamie just sleeping. There wasn't anything weird. Let's be clear.
See, this is what happened with OnlyFans. It took a hard left. We took a
Yeah,
hard
right.
left too. Like,
Unless you want to see OnlyFans after dark, then it gets weird.
yeah, that
right?
might get weird.
no, and now they have subscriptions. This is what I hate about subscriptions. Now there's for everything. Even YouTube has like
Yep.
their own, like Instagram has their subscription thing. Like it just. You recently canceled a lot of subscriptions.
Like $120 worth
A month.
subscriptions.
Well, I mean, that was like the whole. That was
And
the
there wasn't
whole.
that many.
That was the whole promise of digital streaming, right? Is like, oh, dude, you can have anything, anytime on your computer, and then they're like, nah, it's gonna cost more than cable now. Actually,
Yeah.
you got to have Hulu, Disney Plus, Netflix.
Yeah, because they're
right?
like, oh, I'm gonna
Yeah.
take
now
my
they're
stuff
starting to
over
work
here.
together and bundle each other together.
Yeah,
So
which
like
that makes sense.
that one's a little bit better, but they're still expensive. It's
Yeah.
just like a network now.
Yeah, it's exactly like,
like
having cable back
Dish,
in the day.
yeah.
Exactly.
yeah, they've just regressed right to what it was.
Yep.
Yeah,
Because
people-
even YouTube, that YouTube TV, it's like $60, $70.
Yeah, it's super expensive.
Edgar, grab onto him and just pull him
just
closer.
like pulling
Sorry,
this way.
I'm drifting. I drift
You're good, you're
sometimes.
good.
I'll get in here.
Are you signed up for the YouTube subscription?
No,
Who are you following on OnlyFans?
no, wait.
Let me get my phone out. No, I'm not actually. And the reason is for me running a YouTube channel, I'm interested to see like what the ad experience is. So if I pay, I don't see what the ad experience is. So when I'm like on YouTube personally, I like to know like how are ads being fed and like what type of ads are being fed on my own videos even. Because like I don't want stuff getting fed out that like I don't agree with. Because we can go in and actually like tailor ads if we want to.
You can do ads.
No, we can basically be like, oh, don't show this ad or do show this ad and that
Oh,
type of
okay.
thing. Yeah.
But you can't pay.
No, I could pay for a subscription to not get ads, and I could run my own ads if I want. I mean, anybody can, right?
Like
But-
during the video and stuff?
yeah, but I don't do
We
that.
can't run ads.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can.
yeah,
During the video, like right now, let's say we're sponsored by Tops Knives. Like,
Oh, during the video.
yeah.
But if you do that, then you have to put the disclaimer when you go to upload it.
That
but
is
still,
sponsored.
nobody
it's
ever reads
sponsored.
that. Like,
Yeah,
Oh, fair enough, I guess. But I'm saying, like, if you were to promote your thing, you can't.
right.
They won't let you because
Oh, no,
you
I could.
do knives.
Yeah, I could. I thought you were saying if I have a subscription to not have ads on YouTube.
No. I'm
Yeah.
saying like to promote what you're doing on Google, and you can do that.
Yeah, I should be able to do that. Yeah, especially because mine's content based. So if you're talking about like the knife regulations they have, right?
Yeah.
So mine's content based. So I don't have I'm not sending them to a retail website. Technically, if you don't sell anything that's a restricted item, so mainly just like switchblades, you're not selling switchblades. Technically, you're not violating the community guidelines. Technically, you should be able to run ads, but that doesn't mean that it's. I mean, the technically is a whole other
Yeah,
thing. You know what I
right.
mean? Like, yeah, it's like we were talking about earlier. Leo and his pen at the TSA or whatever, right? It's just a pen, right? But they took it anyways.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
they're being dicks.
Yeah. Exactly.
yeah, because it's kind of hard.
They
hard
tried to.
They tried
risk.
to. Yeah.
When that guy was like, he was like, yeah, we're going to take that. Leo's like, no, I'll take it and ship it. And the guy's like, I can't give it back to you. And Leo's like, give it to whoever you want, and they're going to walk out with me, and I'm going to ship it.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, okay, I'll get somebody. Yeah.
Do you have so on Instagram? Can you do that?
Yeah, you should be able to do it on Instagram as well.
Because I've tried with my personal
Okay.
page,
Yeah, yeah.
my personal Instagram.
Yeah.
Because I'm promoting my photos.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not sending anybody to any website.
Yeah.
I'm just showing them what I do, and no, they won't let me. Even if it doesn't have a knife or anything in it.
Weird. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
They
he has
won't-
pictures
because
of
I have pictures of weapons.
Ah. Okay. Yeah.
And
And that's what I say is technically the community guidelines say one thing. Have you guys heard of Axial OTFs? Have you heard of that company? They're based out of Utah. They actually had a really smart campaign. It was smart and not smart. And I've told the guys at Axial this too, so I'm not saying anything like out of school, right? But it was really smart because what they did is they sell OTFs. So you definitely can't run an ad with an OTF, right? But what they did is when the knife opened, they blurred it out. And then every time they said the word knife, they bleeped it. But it was like they were playing on it, right? It was a joke, right? Smart, because I've done knife marketing for a long time, right? Smartest knife marketing I've ever seen in my entire life. And the problem was, though, is that they were running general ads for anybody to see, and then they're sending them to a website trying to sell a $250 knife, right? And as you guys know, you're not selling the guy that buys Walmart knives a $250 knife. So it was really smart on getting people to click over, but it wasn't really smart at getting people to buy knives.
Yeah,
but I talked to those guys. I was like, that's literally one of my favorite ad campaigns I've ever seen, and that's how they got around it, right? Yeah. But again, it's up to their discretion.
It's one of those things where you're getting through using loopholes.
Yeah,
but
it's not going to last.
Like that, you can get caught, and then it's over.
Exactly. Well, and I mean, this isn't a marketing podcast, but I'll just, I do marketing stuff. So the other thing too was after the new iOS updates and after what Meta has done with Facebook and Instagram, really paid ads anymore, like you got to spend a lot of money for anybody to see what you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
they do that on purpose.
I do some consultation with some brands, and like they used to have like a click-through conversion rate. So, click and then somebody buys something. It was like $5-6 you could buy a customer basically, right?
Yeah.
It's like 15-20 right now. It's wild. So in the knife industry, we're actually in a cool space because we've all had to do it organically, and it's all going to go back to that. So like we're all kind of like, it's kind of a cool thing for marketing, you know what I mean? I mean, to get a little nerdy on that.
We're all used to it.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
we're already good at it.
We're already good at it. And that's actually like my consultation stuff went through the roof because people are like, we don't know how to market without paying. And I'm like, well, pay me and then I'll show you how to market.
There you go.
Yeah. No,
anyways,
that's how it is. Like some channels, like we Instagram, for example, Jesus built Instagram from like 0 to we hit 90. What was it? 94 or 96?
90. It was like lower 90s.
So it was like 92, 93,000 ish.
Like that.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh man, we're gonna get to 100,000 by the end of the year.
It was going
we
pretty
started
fast,
doing
too.
like, let's do this giveaway. We were getting like 12 to 1,500 new followers per week, just completely organically.
Right.
We weren't paying for anything because we knew we couldn't.
Of course.
And at about 93, 94,
It stalled
Yeah.
for a long time.
And the weird thing was, so new likes, just nothing.
Yeah.
We had the same engagement. We had the same likes, the same comments. Like everything else looked normal, but likes just stopped. Or new followers.
New followers.
just
New followers. Yeah.
Deadlined
Yeah.
for months.
Yeah, because we were averaging probably about 1,000, 1,500 new followers a week.
Yeah. That's really good. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, we were doing 100, and then 50,
Negative.
and then it went negative a few times.
Yeah, there were a few weeks
it
that were
does
negative.
because
Yep.
like you was, especially when they count that big, you're always losing a couple,
Yeah.
right? And then
30-ish
you're gaining
is
a couple.
normal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And but it was like the next day. It wasn't like it tapered. It went from one day to the next, and then Jesus was like, "Dude, we haven't had new followers in
For a while.
like 3 weeks."
So we tried some new stuff, and it wasn't really working. And then these guys came in,
Yeah.
and we started growing again because they had moved to video, reels and stuff
yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
and
it's a
so
whole thing.
mine was more photo.
Yeah.
And so we had Edgar, he was doing more videos, and so I started growing decently again.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they stalled at 105, I think 105,000 stalled for a while.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it picked up again, and now it's stalled again at 129.
Yeah.
It's just
It's just
sitting
weird.
it just stalls.
Well, the really
Usually.
interesting thing about like all these social media outlets is initially you had like just 5 or 6 engineers that were building like all the code and how it worked and all of that, right? Those dudes weren't even talking to each other. So they were kind of creating a piece of the puzzle they knew would fit on the borders, but they didn't really know what the other guy was doing on the other end. Once they put it all together, they turned an AI on, right?
Yeah.
So now, like you talk to engineers at like Google, you talk to engineers at Facebook, Meta, whatever. They literally are like, the AI does most of the work now.
Oh,
So it's literally the computer. It's the computer being like, this is what you'll see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, bro, that sucks. Like,
This is what we know you like.
yeah, exactly.
From a user perspective, do you like it?
No, I don't like it at all.
No?
But here's the thing: is like I worked in marketing for a handful of years. You know what I mean? Before that, construction. I've taught college. I ran a pizza place. I ran bike shop. I've done a lot of stuff, right? Nonprofits, whatever. I'm not like I didn't even own a phone until I started working in marketing like 5 years ago.
Shit.
Yeah, literally, I didn't even have like a cell phone.
Smoke signals?
Nah, man, like
Just a regular,
landline, and like
Landline,
and
jeez.
like my wife had a cell phone, right? So people would call that because it got to the point where landlines got really expensive because nobody had landlines, right? But even now, like when I go out, like on my motorcycle or I go wandering or whatever, I leave the cell phone at home. Like I only have my cell phone on me if I need it for work.
That's where the name came from.
Yeah.
I'm in the wild.
I'm in the
babe.
wild.
Yeah, just leave me alone. He's just down in the back sitting.
Yeah, right. I'm in the wild.
She thinks you're out like in the middle of the woods. You're just down in the back.
I like put my tent up in the backyard.
Does that thought give anybody anxiety?
Yeah, I was about to say that. I'm like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
that's
for
sketchy as
sure.
fuck.
I don't like it. Like when you, I mean, you guys have seen it before. Like you start talking about something, and all of a sudden, like you start scrolling social media, and then you're like, I was just literally talking about that. Like,
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is,
Oh, I don't think
and
that's what we were talking
that
about.
happened. That happened 5-6 years ago. Different topic, right? But
Yeah.
5-6
It's
years
still
ago,
the AI.
It's still a good topic.
yeah, 5-6 years ago, they made it so you can't turn this, like you can't turn the microphone on your phone off ever.
Really?
Literally, the microphone on your phone can never be
it's
turned
always
off.
listening.
It can, and it's not like it's like a creepy. It's not like it's listening to like oppress you or do something horrible. It's listening to sell you stuff. You know, that's how they make money, right? Like that's the thing. Yeah. But yeah, no, leaving the house without a phone. You should do it more often.
No, I can't do that.
It gives me anxiety too.
It's like when you're given something, right?
would- I
and
would
it's
like
really
to do that.
nice.
Yeah.
And then they take it away from you.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, give it back. You know, I'll do whatever.
See, I got this. So
Not that.
I don't know how philosophical we can get on this, but
Of course, philosophical.
you know what I mean?
Do
So-
it as you want.
Dude,
So
all
I-
the people that normally listen will be like, "What?" the
Yeah, no,
Don't
I
leave
love,
it.
I love thinking. I mean, I read Plato's Republic when I was 12 years old. You know what I mean? I love philosophy, right? So I have this theory. I actually published it in a philosophical journal a couple years back. I got this.
What?
Yeah, I got this theory that right, humans, we crave efficiency, right? But then there's like this level of humanity that makes for like the most flourishing, right? So for example, like the wheel, right? Way more efficient, and it also like increased our humanity, right? Like less animal because we had the wheel, right?
Yeah.
Fire, right? Like same thing. So you have these. I think that you have these technologies where the two cross, right? And our quest for efficiency takes over, like our ability to be the best humans we can be.
Yeah.
And I think that phones, right, the internet, is this beautiful tool, but like our monkey brains can't handle it. It's too much, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like medicine's a good example. Medicine, we don't have nearly enough efficiency in medicine, right? Like we need a cure for cancer, we need a cure for AIDS, we need all these things. And then it's like, cool, now we can flourish better as humans because we don't have to deal with all this other bullcrap, right?
Yeah.
But I think with technology, I think that the internet it's evolved way faster.
Yeah,
You know what I
that's
mean?
true. It went really fast.
You know what I mean? It's like what 30 years, maybe 30 years of internet, and like here we are with like literally entire breadth and depth of human history in our pocket.
Yeah, there wasn't that time needed to study it to see how it affects young people, how
Yeah.
it affects older people.
And I think
We're
it's a
living
lot like
through that experiment.
Yeah,
we are. And
we
I
are
think
the experiment.
I think it's a lot like smoking in the 50s, right? Everybody in the United States, around the world, everybody in the United States smoked, from like the early 20th century to the 50s, 60s, 70s. And then they start doing research and they're like, oh, bro, this gives you straight up cancer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like with phones, hopefully we get to a point where we're like, like maybe social media apps just turn off at like 8 p.m. locally every night. And you can't be on your phone past 8 p.m. I don't know, something like, right? I don't know what it would be.
Yeah, well,
but-
the studies that Marlboro paid for said that.
Yeah, no, it's
cancer
totally
was
good.
no,
No,
there's no cancer.
World
It
War
was good.
II, you got asthma? Oh, dude, smoke a pack of cigarettes. It'll open your lungs up.
Yep. yeah, that was Marlboro's research. It was great.
Dude, we're great. We're great.
Wasn't the sugar industry responsible for like making everybody think that fat was what was making you fat? But it was actually
It was
much
actually
sugar.
sugar.
It
Yep,
was the sugar.
Yep, the simple sugars. Yep.
But you don't think technology helps like a lot of the little kids too?
100%. I think technology, and
Use
again,
the
it's
right way.
It's the
Yeah, I think
efficiency.
that's where he's
It's
going,
the
yeah.
efficiency humanity thing, right? Like, dude, the internet's amazing. Our ability to instantly communicate is amazing. The ability that like I could talk with somebody like in Africa, right, and connect with them on a human level, like face to face. It's rad, right? Like to like build those connections. But right,
Porn.
but right,
Yeah.
cat memes or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, what do we actually like? You could like literally, you have the entire library of everything humans have ever thought on the internet. What do you spend your time on the internet doing?
Yeah, TikTok.
Watching people sleep and then you send them a gift.
Exactly. Watching Jamie sleep and then waking him up. Right?
Hopefully.
Like,
It's funny because it's actually a thing. So like I was scrolling TikTok. Mine's mainly like photography stuff. You know how like
because
it curates
the
and
AI
stuff like
curates
that.
for you. Yeah,
Bodybuilders.
No, no, no.
They're like female bodybuilders.
Sean's is food.
No, that one popped up,
probably.
and I'm like, just sitting there watching it. I'm like, who is dumb enough to watch this? You know, and 20 minutes later, I'm still watching it. I'm like, this is dumb. And then,
You are, is what it says at the bottom.
Yeah, and that's
no,
the thing.
but I like what they do over like because after it's weird how it worked. After Jesus told us about how China curates their form of TikTok to like.
They get like all the smart videos.
No,
Yeah,
they get STEM, they get building business, they get inspirational,
Yeah.
and it's not like this isn't like a conspiracy. This is facts.
Yeah.
Like the algorithm they create specifically for the United States is like girls shaking things and
Dances.
like dumb things and like silly memes, and that's fun. But like if that's all you're looking at,
Because the thing is, it's up to you. You can say I'm not interested, and then get it to where it's stuff that you actually gonna learn from. And
Because it's funny, he talked about it, and then later on an article popped up. Like somehow I found an article talking about how China, what they do
pushes more academic type stuff.
Yeah. Yep. And I feel like that should be more.
the stuff you look at.
Yeah.
So well, and I mean, I don't know the answer to this question, but do they do that because that's what keeps Chinese people on their phones more?
Well,
or,
and
or is it more just that's what they want?
We don't know.
That's what they want.
We don't know. So the FCC,
My opinion.
I think there's five people that run the FCC. 3 of the 5 that run the FCC think we should ban TikTok because they're really worried about the type of data that we're sending back to China, right? And for whatever the reasons, I'm not gonna get political, like that's not my thing, but like that's what they're worried about, right?
Right.
And that's where the study came. That's actually where the study came, was from the FCC talking about the different types of algorithm streams, right? So like chances are, right, all of us love sugar, right? I don't care if you're in China or if you're in the United States. What we're getting fed is sugar, right? And we're all getting like mental diabetes, right? When like in China, they're getting a little more protein, right? And so it's probably just a bit of healthier mental diet of like what they're scrolling, right? And it's probably more beneficial.
Well, then even
right?
outside of TikTok, the algorithm feeds you what keeps you on the app longer.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's
so
like they'll put you a hot girl, and you're just like,
Yep.
okay.
And so, well, then, like, I mean, I think Joe Rogan mentions this. It was there's another one of his comic friends. I think it was Bert Kreischer, or one of those guys that he's like real close with. The guy started a page, just searched for and liked videos and pictures of puppies. That was it.
Yeah.
And he could prove to you because he'd pull up that account or whatever, scroll, and it was all dogs, dogs, puppies. It was just all sorts of videos about dogs and puppies. Because that's what he fed it.
Yep.
So it gave him what he fed it.
Yep. On every social media platform, I have 5 accounts, and I feed each one a different thing, so that like, especially for like news, right? Because it's really hard to get any sort of like what's actually happening. So I have like different accounts for news. I have different accounts for different types of content that I like, and I'll just like log into the different
Have
ones.
you ever checked out allsides.com?
No, but I've seen the what's the one? Ground News. Have you seen Ground News? It might be like All Sides, but Ground News is awesome. Like follow them for sure. They're super rad.
The all sides they give you all the networks, and
Perfect.
they tell you where they kind of stand, and it's just a
they kind of rank it more politically, right?
a little bit.
So you've got like red, blue, and purple, and like mixes in between.
That's what It sounds like the same thing. That's what Ground News does, and it's cool because they also cite all their sources, which is like a huge thing, right? Like we read a headline on the internet, and then we think we're experts on something, right? Like,
That's not us.
came from the
All the
onion.com.
time.
right? Like, I can't believe this happened, and then you're like, oh, that wasn't even real. Like,
He literally has a lab coat.
one of the episodes that we did on this show was specifically like news articles and trying to determine whether or not they were fake.
awesome. Yeah,
And
I love
we
it.
were not very. I was terrible at it.
He failed all of them.
Yeah,
I think we got
It was
some
bad.
because we did some onion headlines and
Yeah.
some regular headlines. And,
Yeah, of course.
But that's a big problem too. Like a lot of them, doesn't matter right or left. The articles are actually decent.
Yep.
When you read the article, but the headline, the person that's in charge of writing the article doesn't write the headline most of the time.
Yep.
And so that has to get you.
Well,
and
and
most people just read the headline.
And that's the thing is what's the currency? The currency is eyeballs. Like we just talked about how hard it is to get eyeballs. How do you get eyeballs? Well, you just be more extreme, right? Like, so if you make your headline super inflammatory, and then the article is like a real well-written article, who's going to sit and read for 10 minutes on their phone? Nobody does that, right? Like, so you're going to read the headline, you're going to be like, oh, those jerks or whatever, right? And then you're going to move on with your day, having created this bias, right? So like, that's an issue with, right? When we're talking about efficiency, right? Like,
Do you clickbait on your YouTube videos?
you have to.
I actually don't.
You don't?
No, no. That's like you can go review. You can go review.
They made me a custom knife.
Fact check
Pull it
that.
up.
I actually watch
check it.
all his videos, and he's not clickbait.
Yeah, thanks, man. No, it's actually a huge thing. Like authenticity is like my number one thing with my channel. So like me and Jamie, like if it like whether it's a sponsor, whether it's a product, whether anything, like we don't say anything on the channel that we don't mean. That's not real, right?
What he does do though on his thumbnails is he does make himself pop out more.
Yeah.
And I've noticed it.
Yeah.
Just like the slightest.
Well, you gotta follow Mr. Beast's. He tells you how to do it.
Oh yeah, Mr. Beast is a genius.
Yeah,
at that
he
stuff.
tells you how to do it.
And there's a few things that catch us, right? There's like, again, going back to monkey brain, there's primal things, right? Like, so like human faces, fires, knives actually are a thing that really pop out to people. Now, whether the algorithm's going to like a knife in the thumbnail, that's a whole nother story, right? But like there's certain things. So yeah, like with humans, right? You want a human face to pop because people identify and they're like human, right? Or fire or like whatever the thing is, right?
Boobies.
Yep.
Yeah,
cute lady, right? Like it's the same, you know.
I like the thumbnail.
I mean, I'm not-
Because
Well, I mean, think about it. You turn on any news channel right now. Odds are that the person on the other end of the screen is not dog ugly.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
That's
no,
not on, and that's on purpose.
Yeah, that's a huge. Yeah, I mean,
Dog ugly.
you don't need to be sexy to be on the news, but you have to at least have like a baseline attractive.
Yeah.
right. Like,
A certain level of
do you
attractiveness.
have
Healthy.
do you have symmetry?
Look
Is your
healthy.
skin healthy?
have you seen the girl from Mexico? Remember the?
Oh,
yes.
yeah, the weather.
Oh yeah, the weather girl. Oh, of course.
Yeah, Yannick Garcia. Of
That's
course.
all they're getting now. Have you
He
seen?
knows her name.
She was one of the ones that was
was
mad
with-
because of the porn thing.
She was with
Oh, yeah.
Face Sensor. That's how I met her. I was like, dude, I've seen you on that somewhere else.
Oh, the gamer, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But now they have other girls doing the exact same turn that
course.
she would do.
Of course.
She would like turn and like pop that booty out.
Eyeballs.
And they're-
That's the currency. Eyeballs.
What are
right?
you doing? Watching the weather?
I'm watching the weather for the 17th time.
It's gonna rain tomorrow in Mexico.
What's the temperature? I have no idea.
Remember
cares?
DVR? Why are you recording?
Why did you record the weather?
Yeah, so I can see what it's gonna be like next week on a Monday.
Because I'm thinking about traveling to Mexico.
Like,
I want to keep a track of what it was last week. You know.
No, the reason I bring up clickbait is because
research.
a lot of people name their video something. Oh, I can't believe such and such happened, and then you watch the entire video and it's only like a 10-second clip of what happened.
Vloggers, that's the vlogging century. I don't think it works now as
Search
much.
does that sometimes.
But during the vlog era,
It does work a little bit.
but it did work for when the vlogs were the big thing in YouTube. Now for those TikTok reels, I don't really think anybody cares about the title as much because you want to see that 10-second clip.
Yeah.
Well, and that was what we found is when I first started in the YouTube game, it was all about searches, right? So we were trying to be useful. So it was like, okay, cool, what are people searching? So do a bunch of Google research, do a bunch of YouTube research, and then we try to like create a video with content and a title that matched, right? And now it's all algorithm. Like it's all algorithm. Like if I showed you guys the metrics on my channel, it's literally like okay, search features like I think on our most recent video we have something like it's just at 200,000 views. And like the algorithm is like, or the searches is like 1,200 searches, and then literally algorithm is like 80,000, 90,000. Like it's just YouTube recommendations.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so like that's a huge part of it too, is like titling right now. And I think also people are smarter, which is good. I think people are smarter that when they see something like, you won't believe 20 people died, it's like 20 people didn't die, I'm not clicking on the video. You know what I mean? Like,
You got me before.
yeah, exactly. I think we're all getting smarter to it, which is good because hopefully
sure.
that gets us to that conversation of like, oh, maybe smoking's bad for us. You know what I mean? Like,
That's the thing. We're chasing the algorithm. The algorithm's chasing our searches, and it's just a loop.
yeah, it's wild.
It's a weird loop.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah.
And do you find it weird, like when people, you know how they come out with videos, they think they know the algorithm? Like, this is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're supposed to do.
And they're not even close.
Well, and this is the thing.
Their
is-
video has like 100 views.
Yeah. How to get a million views, and it's like 100 views on his video. Like you're like, oh, you couldn't apply your own.
Look
No,
at my
and-
other videos though.
Yeah. Well,
Still
and
nothing.
That's the thing is going back to the whole thing. Like the initial engineers didn't quite know how it all went together because they were all working independently, right? So they understood how they went together. They didn't quite understand all the corners, right? And then once the AI took over, there are very few things I think that you can tell somebody and be like, this is exactly how the algorithm works, right? So like on Instagram, right? Like if you want to get big on Instagram, you literally have to create 10 to 25 individual reels a day.
Damn.
Because the only way to get big on Instagram right now is through search. Like it's Explore. What do you do when you go on Instagram? You go through your friends' stories, or you go to Explore and you just go through Explore, right? Like that's what most people do. I don't know what you guys personally do, but that's what most people do is they go to Explore and they just look through Explore. That's all search features. So you have to create a ton of videos so that you can get fed into that whole stream.
Yeah.
You know what I
And it's
mean?
all reels.
Yeah, it's all reels. And that's the thing is like I can definitively say that. But if somebody's like, you got to post it this time or you got to use these words, there's no way. There's no way they know that because even Instagram doesn't know that. You know what I mean? Like,
Is it bad to post like really often though, or
not-
because for a time it was bad to be posting?
it was
Super often.
Yeah, like if you posted more than like 2 or 3 a day, you'd get hit, right? Not with reels because again, they want the death scroll. They want you to go into Explore and they want you just to be fed, right?
They want you to never
So
come
reels
out.
post as many as you want.
go to anybody who's blown up in the last year and look at how many reels they're putting up a day. I mean, like It's like it's like low hanging fruit. Go to Gary V's Instagram, right? If you guys know Gary V, right? Go to Gary. Yeah, I know.
You don't like it?
What you really got to do is
yeah,
he's
the
like
guy that's
Morty from Rick and Morty.
The guy that's like, don't go to college, but he had money.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't go to college
No,
if you
but still,
already have
He
the
had
money.
a point though.
I think he has some cool stuff.
Yeah,
but
agreed, but still,
if you
like-
go to his page, you're gonna see he's probably uploading.
Yard sales.
I bet you he's uploading anywhere from 8 to 20 videos a day. Is what he's uploading. Reels is what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways,
I think that's partly why I don't like him, because I'm fucking tired of seeing his stuff.
I don't see him anymore.
I don't
he's
know.
doing
Yeah.
something right.
I stopped following him because of it.
They still
I
pop up.
unfollowed him because I was like, fuck this. I
can't keep listening to this.
You know who's been killing it on social media right now? Is that Andrew Tate?
Yeah.
Oh, well, he's
but-
banned now.
But he's smart.
No,
though.
he's back
smart.
on.
Is he back
Yeah,
on? Oh,
yeah,
okay,
he got
He,
brought
he,
back.
wa- he was banned, but his stuff was still
Do you know
everywhere.
Do you see why? Like, have you seen those videos of explaining like why he did get all that eyeballs? Because he basically did what you were saying. Is people were posting his footage, even though he's not posting anything.
Yep.
He just let like he said.
Yeah.
And so people were making clips of all these stuff and
Because
his
I
stuff
still get like I'll put I'm not interested and I'll still get them.
Oh yeah.
No,
But because I'm getting them from different people.
It's so saturated. Yeah,
no, but have
exactly.
you ever actually listened to why he said some of the things?
No, he says great stuff.
Yeah.
Like he says stuff that makes sense. But I just don't
No,
like it.
it's funny because I saw this one video. He's like, "This is what I said," and I actually watched it. This is what they cut it up to be.
Yeah.
And so it sounded really horrible. But when you actually listen to it or like watch the whole thing, yeah, some of the stuff he says is kind of stupid. But it made sense.
It's not
like,
what he says. What he says is mostly all right.
But he
That's
says
what
it
he does.
in a way to push buttons though.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the thing is
Yeah.
he'll say something. He'll this or that whatever. I'm not even gonna say it because like I don't want to even be on that side of things. But he'll say whatever, right? But and you're like, oh, when you think about what he said, you're like, oh no, that actually makes total sense. But the way you said it to make people mad.
Yeah.
So they'll engage with your content.
Yeah.
They'll comment. They'll talk about you. He's smart. He's
Yeah,
he's
'cause-
a
No, he
smart
is.
marketer. Like, that's what
yeah,
it is,
a lot
you
of
know?
creators right now call that the Andrew Tate model. Like
Yep.
you just need to follow that model because that's what's working right
You
now.
need to create controversy
Until
because
some-
that gets people
until
talking.
something
and
else
they
works, yeah.
follow.
Well, and then again, going back to eyeballs, right? Like that's horrible.
It's
Like I don't
weird
want
how-
my entire feed to be just with a bunch of like malice and a bunch of angry people and a bunch of like saying inflammatory things that I guess I agree with, but the way you're saying it is specifically to get people mad. I don't want to look at that all day because that's going to make me an angry person.
It,
You know what I
and
mean?
it also
Like-
all depends on what the goal of your channel is. too.
Exactly.
If the goal is to make money and get a lot of people to view, then that's
if
the way
you're-
you have to go.
If you're selling Hustlers University to be a top G,
You
then
have to.
boom, right? You got to do it, right? Like,
Top G.
you want to be a top G.
But if you want to have curated followers where you want people that kind of agree with what you're saying, kind of have that same mentality, then
I'm
you
gonna
have,
come in Monday. I'm like, I'm a top G.
top
kick the
G.
door open.
Yeah, I love it.
I knew John was gonna love that.
but it also ruins like certain things. Like for example, like in the beginning when pranks were actually authentic.
Yeah.
Like cool.
Now they're all
cool reactions.
staged.
Now
Oh,
they're
yeah.
like
They're
the
horrible, yeah.
Now they're super horrible because people were trying to get those eyeballs. People were
and
trying
now they
to get
last
those reactions.
forever. They last like 20 minutes.
Yeah, I know. It was like the original prank was like, I scared my friend.
Yeah.
And then like 2 years later, it's like, I pretended to be dead to my family for 20 years.
Yeah, or you
I
got
mean,
the-
yeah, that's really funny, but it's also traumatizing.
Or you got the guy dressed like a terrorist that throws a backpack in front of people
Right.
and runs off. Like,
Right.
Tally.
Man,
Yeah, you're like, dude,
you
that's
do
too
that in the
much.
wrong city, you're gonna get shot.
Yeah. Now it's
There's
too
one,
much.
there's one dude did it in I think in El Salvador before, like this was years back.
Yeah.
And he jumped out of a garbage can and the guy like freaked out and then he like shot him, just killed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
mean,
funny because that's actually
play stupid games, win stupid prizes. You know what I mean? Like that sucks.
that's something that somebody one of the pranksters, I think his name was Roman. Roman Atwood.
Atwood.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
He said he's like now if you try some of the pranks that we used to do, he's like you'll get shot.
No, you get shot.
I think
yeah.
you would
Because
get
they did
shot.
the zombie prank. I don't know if you guys ever saw that where these people would walk through like this underneath this bridge, and they had probably like 80 to like 90 extras of just like people and zombies that would just chase people.
Right.
Now you just run
Oh,
into the
man.
wrong person. You just
Yep. That would be
into
bad.
a crowd.
That would suck. Oh,
That would be bad.
I think
Yeah.
clickbait kind of ended too because of Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
Because everything he does is real. So you're kind
Oh
of
yeah,
like,
he's like I'm giving
Yeah.
away a jet, and he
And he
he's
is.
giving it, yeah, he's actually giving
No,
it.
I remember
clickbait.
when I first discovered Mr. Beast. I remember reading the titles and being like, "This is clickbait." You know what I mean? Like, this
Yeah.
isn't real. And then I finally watched one of his videos. I'm like, "Oh, bro, this guy's actually doing this. This is
Yeah.
wild."
Yeah. It's
How
like,
do you-
how do you top him off? Like,
Well,
Yeah, you can't.
because he
Yeah.
can afford it because he doesn't.
because I
He
remember
couldn't at the beginning though.
I remember in YouTube there was a time that if you wanted to be big, you had to start beef with someone or have some drama.
Yep.
And then you would grow. But now, like,
Just start a beef with Zach.
Yeah.
Oh,
That still happens.
That
I mean,
doesn't sound fun.
that still happens.
But you still
gonna
also
grow.
have people that grow that have zero beef, like absolutely will not have beef with anybody,
Yeah.
and they grow. So it's kind of weird now that that's not even
I really think it's authenticity, man. Like
Yeah.
like Andrew Tate, he's a good example. Like I think he's being pretty authentic to who he is, right? Honestly, I think he
Yeah, that's who he
I
is,
think
yeah.
he thinks he's the top G, right? So he's the top G,
But that's
right?
who he is, yeah.
But that's who he is.
Yeah.
And even though it's inflammatory, and even though I don't think that content should be that way, like he's being authentic, right? And that's what we strive for on our channel too. Is like just be authentic, right? Like I like to have a good time. I like to have a positive outlook. I like to do projects. I like knives. Cool, let's be authentic. Let's do that. You know what I mean? And I don't know. So that's my 2 cents.
You haven't been you haven't been throttled yet. You haven't had any like.
Nothing weird yet. No,
Nothing
I mean,
where it's
you
just
know,
like-
we have we've been really fortunate. Like people who've watched have subscribed, which is super rad. I mean, the channel in June, in June we were like at 10,000 subs, and we're like at 52,000 now. So like growing really fast. We're super grateful. I mean, we got a lot of videos that are hitting over 100,000 views regularly. But then, you know, I released a video on Scrimshaw. You guys know what Scrimshaw is?
Yeah.
Yeah. I did.
bone
Yeah.
drawing?
I did. So I was just like, I don't know, this is cool. It's authentic. I'm going to do this. We did Scrimshaw. It got like 12,000 views. You know, I don't think that was throttling. I think it's just, the algorithm didn't like that one. You know what I mean?
really interested in that.
Yeah, exactly.
Or a lot of people don't know what it was. So
What it
wasn't
was.
something that was searched.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and you know what I think that's important to distinguish, because there's a lot of people that think that because they had one bad video they're getting throttled.
Yeah.
Or I'm shadow banned because one video didn't do
Oh, yeah.
good or
Yeah.
you know, like I think a lot of people throw that out there with no basis other than this video didn't do good and I thought it was going to.
Yeah. Well,
And so there's a difference between one video not doing well and then like with like just going back to with us, like the new followers. It was like one metric
right.
just flatlined for weeks, months actually, and all the other metrics were normal.
Yep.
And so I feel like we were shadow banned for that time, and I feel like it's kind of ended. It kind of like they turn it on and off, it seems like, but and some of it's probably algorithm changes and whatnot.
Yep.
But it was a very immediate change, and it lasted. And it wasn't like a couple pictures or a couple videos that didn't do well. It was like everything.
And that's exactly it. Like with any of these platforms, you have to remember you're playing in somebody else's sandbox.
Yeah,
That's what it is, right? Like if today YouTube was like, we're going to take your channel, okay. I literally, okay. Like, and for me to even get angry about that would be silly because it's not my sandbox, right? Like, okay, I guess that's what it is. I'm going to figure something, I'm going to go work at the mine. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, well, and the thing is, the rules of the sandbox change.
and that's the problem.
Regularly.
And we don't know the rules, right? Like in
exactly.
school, I went to recess and I knew, okay, cool, like don't pull the girl's hair, don't push the kid down. Like I knew the rules. But then you play in this other sandbox and you're like, I don't really know the rules sometimes as to how to play this. And again, so I'm going to be authentic. And if my authentic self ends up being something that can't play in that sandbox, sick, I'll go find somewhere
Go
else to play.
somewhere else.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
And that sucks when you build up like because
Yeah.
they banned what's his name Steve Will Do It. I don't know if you've ever watched his
I
stuff.
don't think so, no.
Just because they changed everything, and he was one of the bigger
He
YouTubers.
was one of the bigger ones, and he was doing that walking the line type of thing, like you said, that there's rules, but you can do this.
Yeah.
So he didn't put a link of a gambling site
Right.
on his bio, but he didn't put he just put it in the video. So
Okay.
but it wasn't linked to anything, so you couldn't actually click any link or.
Right.
And he was doing this over and over again, and then one of those videos just day and night deleted his whole thing.
his whole channel.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he moved to Rumble with.
Which is a new one. I don't know if you've heard
Yeah,
of that
I've heard
one?
of Rumble. We actually got an email from somebody at Rumble. They were like, "Hey, upload your videos here," and we went and checked it out. And like, we might like just upload stuff. It's pretty easy to just go from YouTube to Rumble. Like, if you already have your videos, you know what I mean? Like,
And it's always good
Yeah.
just to create your profile just
Yeah.
so you have your name.
yeah, so you have your name
You
and
have
stuff like that. That's
redundancy.
always a good idea.
Yeah, because
exactly.
that's what we did. We
Yeah.
started one just so we had the
Yeah.
the handle
The
tops
handle.
knives.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's good. And that's, I mean, handles is a whole nother thing, right? Like,
It has to be catchy and stuff. Oh, by the way, Jesus wants to go write a diss track on you. So
oh, perfect,
he's starting beef.
perfect. Love it.
Oh yeah, Destruct Time, dude, man, YouTube's a weird space.
Dude, so funny story. You know Ben Peterson, right? Me and Ben. So me and Ben do videos from time to time. And the last video we did, he's like, "Hey, if we can get a comment to get over 150 likes or 120 likes, Zach's gonna write a rap." And I didn't agree to this. He just said it, and I was like, "All right, fine, let's do it." And then he got on his story, and he's like, "Go like this comment." And that way, Zach. And so now I have to write a rap.
All right,
So-
let's hear
You
it
haven't
first.
done it yet?
Nothing yet.
Have you started?
Well, so
Do you want to test it out?
No.
Come
So
on now.
hold on,
Come
so-
on now.
Do you need a
This
beat?
sounds good.
So
Yes,
being
it's
from
gonna be good.
Being from Vegas, I've got 3 buddies that are actually like have produced like like some real stuff, right? So I reached out to I heard back from one, and he's like, "Hey, dude, I might have time." So like, I'm gonna try to do this real. I'm gonna try to do it like really good.
All right, hit him with your diss track.
Yeah, you got the diss
No,
track,
he's
right?
the rapper. Remember?
Oh.
He was gonna rap last time. That can't be me.
I was gonna
It
rap.
has to be him. Yeah.
All right, let's show him what you got.
When?
All right.
Seen cats
When
and
was this
birds.
gonna
Well,
happen?
let me put the beat
No,
on.
no, hold on.
Put the beat on.
When was to the bottom left?
When was this gonna happen?
Bottom right?
Edgar,
Bottom
put
left.
some.
Nick Jerk, When- just let me know. When was this gonna happen?
That's the wrong beat, dude.
Sorry,
That's the wrong type of beat.
He said that, by the way. That's not clickbait.
No.
I did say that.
That
but I
wasn't
was talking
chopped up or
about
anything.
delegating.
What's that?
I did say that, but I was
No.
talking about
Yeah,
delegation.
that's-
If you
Oh,
want your
got you,
big
got
jerk,
you.
just let me know.
See,
Because I can delegate.
Different type of beat.
No, he
too.
can't.
It fits though.
This is his cover up, but hit him with some Bobby Shmurda. He got this.
Who?
Let's not push buttons.
Yeah, these buttons are stupid.
No, we have so
They
many like
refuse to
little,
undo the buttons, but
so many
they're
like
dumb.
voice clips of Craig because he says
He says great stuff
Yeah.
out of like if you take it out of context,
Right.
it's hilarious.
We all do. But,
Yeah.
No,
but
just
I
you.
talk a lot of shit, and so these guys like get me back.
So you get enemies,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
now they have ammo.
That's the beauty of working in the media
yeah.
department.
That's what
yeah,
it is.
exactly. You have all the power.
Yeah. So anything funny that Jesus says,
Never makes
Never
it.
sees it.
just glosses right over it. But he says shit too that you could easily
No,
take
he's
out of
he's put
context.
he's put out there some stuff.
Yeah, like one.
No, there's a few.
Yeah,
There's a
but
few.
they
We'll let you guys look for them though.
I kind of bring it on myself, and I understand that.
That's fair.
Yep, that's
fair.
fair.
I'll put him.
Hey, taking responsibility. You know what I mean? You got to take
It is what
responsibility.
it
Well, I can't wait to hear that rap.
Yeah, we'll see.
I missed the whole context of it, but all I know is you're gonna rap.
no, it's
it.
because it
That's great.
started. You said you were gonna start beef with him, and you went to
then,
go write a diss
so
track.
then I was like, well, now I'm going to write a diss track. And
There you go.
Are you gonna do like a rap, like a la Eminem? Like, are you gonna? Are you
I thought
gonna
I was
like?
going somewhere else for a second.
you
I'm
gonna
not
like-
lie to you right now.
Are you gonna like pick a style, like a
Yeah,
rapper,
yeah,
and,
yeah.
and copy that style?
No,
or-
I am.
Do
I am.
Dr. Seuss.
I'm trying to.
Dr. Seuss is the way to go.
I actually got like 4 or 5, and I'm trying to figure it out. So first, I got to get the rap right,
Who-
and then I can pick like a tenor, and I can pick like a because I'm just going to auto tune it.
You
Like,
should
I
go
don't-
with
you know,
Knives
I mean,
and socks, knives and box, knives and
the Migos flow.
Yeah, do some Migos.
Do the Migos flow. Yeah, that's what
that's
I'm
a
saying.
style.
Hey, if I did that, I could probably get like Cardi B or something on. Like
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean,
what if
you
it
know.
does blow up?
Yeah, that'd be sick.
I'm
That's
totally
what I'm
lost
that's,
right
that's
now.
what I told Ben is
I have no clue what they're talking about.
What is Migos? What
Migos?
that's
We're old, dude.
like a rap group.
I've never been into rap. Like,
Yeah.
I have, but
Well,
not
but-
like old school, and then I kind of stopped listening to rap. So
Yeah,
I
fair.
don't know any of the new
it
stuff.
was never my.
Migos is kind of like the Vanilla Ice of your time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
I know
fair.
who that is.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
See, he
So-
knows who the Migos are.
Yeah.
Like nobody.
Yeah, but he's
so
not
they're
old.
not legit.
Yeah,
That's true.
Are they
He
too
stays-
legit
he's-
or are they not legit?
To quit?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
One
they're-
of them's married to Cardi B. How do?
I mean, I don't think they're very legit.
I don't know
That's
what that
I'm not a
means,
Migos
John.
guy personally, though. That's just
Really?
me. Yeah, I'm not a
No.
Migos
Who's your guy
guy
then?
Like modern stuff.
I don't know. 'Cause
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can,
no,
you, can-
modern
you can
stuff.
throw a
Yes,
name that
modern
doesn't
stuff.
exist, and I'll be like, oh, that's
Do
cool.
you know who's killing it right now? Marlo. Do you guys know Marlo?
Nope. Oh, John,
bro.
where are you at?
Yeah, where you at?
Quiet.
What?
Bro, I'm more on the Young Dolphs in the
Bro,
world.
you gotta check out Marlo and La Orange. They just put out an album. It's good.
Okay.
You don't
Really
need. You don't know
It's,
this?
it's a little more hip hop.
John.
Like I think most rap sucks now. Mumble rap. That's not my thing.
There
but
you
I'm
go.
a little more old school, right?
Yeah.
But I love good hip hop. And Marlo, he's
Okay,
just,
I'll
yeah, he's
have to
good.
check it out. And
Check
then
out Marlo.
I can be hip.
Dude, no
Like,
idea.
John,
Zach.
I'm so disappointed in you right now.
No idea, man.
You were safe, man. You're the
I'm-
go-to
dude,
for
I
I
rap.
thought he was
You're
going to
the
say like
youngin'.
Ski Mask, the Slump God or something.
You're like the whippersnapper over there that's all into all this shit.
Yeah, but not.
Did you
yeah.
say?
I did.
It's pretty
Yes.
deep. It's a deep cut. It's a
Oh,
deep cut.
man.
He says 6'9".
What about like Suicide Boys?
Check him
and,
out. You're like, I mean, Suicide Boys, sure, 6'9", sure. But, yeah.
See, he knows. At least he knows who we're bringing up.
I mean, I've heard some of these names, but I don't give a
Suge
shit.
Knight?
You only heard Suicide Boys because I bump it when we go to Shot.
I don't even
Nice.
know who the fuck that is. I don't know what you're talking about right
I
now.
bet you he knows more corrido singers than he does rappers
Hey, that's a
Probably.
badge of honor right there, though.
Probably.
because of Leo.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But even those, a lot of times I don't like. I'm not like, oh, this is this band, and I don't write that. I don't write it down or listen to it at home.
No, yeah.
So I had a question about creating content.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? Do you sit down and like brainstorm? Like, oh, this is what I'm gonna do.
You wing it.
Because it's people who create content. No, it's hard. Like
It is, it's
to,
hard.
to constantly keep creating new things.
Because like
and-
for us, our favorites. I think if I'm wrong,
Hold on,
let me know.
hold on, before you start
Let me
adding
know.
we.
Let me know.
Yeah.
the stuff we wing, we like more than the stuff that we actually plan
Oh,
sometimes.
you should
Yeah.
see our
Yeah.
our creative process.
Yeah.
It's great.
So it takes a hard left sometimes.
we
But
pick up the camera and go, and then sometimes great stuff comes out, sometimes not
On the
so
fly,
great.
you're like, so what are we gonna do? Like, You were supposed to come up with something.
Let's just go. Let's just
There's
do
a
this.
couple of things coming up that I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
Both of them involve
those are
John
all
doing
s-
humiliating.
Oh, can we tell him or
That's
not?
always
Yes, I
good.
think
That's
so.
always
I
No,
think
I'm
so.
not doing this. I did
Well,
not
there's
agree
two
to
things.
this.
He's got to answer his
No,
question first.
answer his
Oh,
question,
yeah.
and then we'll
Okay,
let you
okay.
know. And
So for me, I start way up high, and this is why me and Jamie are a great team. Jamie's a very practical guy, right? So I think that we balance each other really out a lot because I like to start
Exploding cars.
yeah, no, really. Like for example, like you know the Donut Warrior, right? The Donut Warrior,
Yeah,
Kalashnikov,
Donut
right?
Operator.
Yeah, whatever. It's Donut Operator, right? So for that campaign, we that started. We did a really fun. It's actually one of my favorite videos I ever did. It was like a Christmas Santa Claus video, and it's just Santa Claus in a kitchen baking Kalashnikovs, right? And then he pulls them out of the oven, and it's just a fun video, right? That originally started as like, okay, we wake up in a dream Candyland, and then we're going through Candyland, and like then this guy's like leading us through, and we're getting all the materials to make this, you know, like just stupid things, right? And then I present that idea, and then it's like, well, that's dumb, but there's a lot of good ideas in it, and then let's like pare it down, right? So that's my process. Is I start way too big, like okay, I have a Hollywood budget, and then I like bring it down.
Scale it down.
Yeah, but then for the initial ideas, what I look at is what am I excited about? What's the community excited about? Like for whatever the thing is that I'm working on, right? And then like what do I think the best way to like present that information is, right? And I love to be concise but cover everything. So for example, I just released the most recent video we released was a Milwaukee Fastback video. And it's the Fastback's just like a utility folding knife. It's got like it's a 1505, it's got like a little screwdriver on the end, right? The really cool thing is there were guys that work in the trades that were coming in there and they're like, I've carried this knife for 5 years. I can't disagree with a single thing you said. And I'm like, sick. I did my job. You know what I mean? Because that means that I looked at all the facets of this tool and I was able to cover everything about it. And I was able to point out the good, the bad, the ugly, and it like covered the whole tool, right? And these guys who have been carrying it for years couldn't disagree with anything I said. So that's what I like to do. That's kind of my thing.
I feel that video that you're talking about had
Yeah.
a lot to do because it's such a simple thing. It's like talking about it is a box cutter.
Yeah.
So how much can you talk about a box
Yeah.
cutter? But the way that you that was put together, I think that's what kind of like kept the audience going. Because I don't think I could talk about a box cutter for 10 minutes or
Yeah.
just the way.
Yeah, because all you
everything's
do is cut boxes with it. But there's a lot of people that use
Listen,
box
but
cutters
it's
for
more than that.
for a
It's more
lot
than
of different
that.
stuff.
This is the thing, though, is when you
we
start
used it
with
for drywall and
when you
stuff
start with a Hollywood budget, though, that's how I start in my head, right? It's like, cool, okay, box cutter, right? Like, okay, I'm gonna find the guy who designed this knife. I'm gonna talk to him. I'm gonna right, like all these things. Okay, obviously I can't do half of that, right? And then that's how I talk about a box cutter for 10 minutes. Is I'm like, okay, what's like distill all these big ideas down to how I can actually present it.
Yeah.
And that's how I try to cover it. So it worked. I think it works. You know, it's something. It's a process that I enjoy.
So, do you have a box cutter?
Yeah. Well, what do you need to cut for?
Huh?
I mean, what do you need? I don't know. Anyways.
I said, do you
cut
have
your
a
losses,
box
dude.
cutter?
Just cut your losses and move on.
Yeah.
Let's just
I
move
do
on.
have a box cutter.
What about
Okay, and what do you cut with it?
Do you ever run into
Boxes.
into writer's block where you're like, oh man,
Not writer's block, but I'll run into content blocks. So that's where I'll run into. So, I mean, I've put out, I had a break for about a year and a half. Both me and Jamie, though, we've put out at least one knife video for 5 years, every week. Every week for 5 years, we've put out one knife video. So, like, there's definitely a content thing, right? So what I always try to do is, like, plan.
So there's a
it's
recipe there, basically.
It's like month, 3 month, 6 month. Like, what are some things that we can do? But like 6 months, kind of useless because it's like, okay, we could do this, right? But like in 6 months, like maybe the big thing in the knife world is customs, or maybe the big thing in the knife world is tactical Barlow knives or whatever, right? And
Maybe
so
there's
it's
a
like,
new one coming out that you would have skipped otherwise.
exactly. So you have to be able to pivot. So like really, it's like a month to 2 months, and then we kind of know, like, okay, cool, we can do this, right? Like, but like coming here and talking with you guys, this has been on my list for like years. I've wanted to come to Tops HQ forever, so I was stoked. I was like, yeah, dude, we finally get to go, you know. So and here we are, which is awesome.
we'll ask you some questions about that here in a bit.
Yeah.
But do you ever worry about like having like something where the content you're doing it more than like, because we run into the problem, me personally,
Yeah.
not we, sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
This one's not me personally.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I worry about creating the same type of content.
Oh, yeah.
Like a lot.
Yeah.
And having people get tired of it.
Yep.
Do you ever worry about that?
All the time. So I grew up in the punk rock scene in Las Vegas, right? And so the only joke that I can ever remember that's even half PG related, too many years in construction, is how many punk rock kids does it take to screw in a light bulb? You know,
2,
three.
Oh.
1 to do it, and 2 to say he was the first one to do it. so like my thing is like he's like what an idiot. But here's the thing: is that perfectly describes my mindset growing up in that culture, because it's all about like what can you do that's original, what can you do that's new, and that's actually a problem that I have. Is like every video I want to do something different, right?
Yeah.
But it's like wait, no, there's like a little bit of a formula. Like you can keep a little bit of this. You don't have to throw out the baby with the bathwater, right? But that's actually something that I have a trouble with. Is like I always want to do something different because I don't want to do the thing I just did.
Yeah,
right?
that's me
You
too.
know?
Like picture-wise, I want. So you see that similar style, but I want it to be completely different than the last one.
Yeah.
And when you do it so long, you're like, man, how can I do it different?
Yep.
Because I don't want to copy anybody.
Yeah.
But you also need inspiration. And then I don't really want to look, because then I don't want people to say, hey, you copied this style or you copied this.
But I think creatively, like we're all copying each other.
Yeah, you have to.
You know what I mean? Creatively,
yeah.
like there's not an actual original idea in the world.
Not
right?
anymore, yeah.
Like if I'm having creative or content block, first thing I do is go to YouTube. What are people doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What are people talking about? What are people stoked on? Sick. Like how can I put my own flavor on this, right? So I got all the ideas from these people, and a lot of times, especially if it's heavily influenced, I'll just be like, oh, dude, I was watching this. Like we did a video on Swiss Army knives, and there's this guy called Felix Imler on YouTube. He just like he does everything with Swiss Army knives, right? Like stuff you just wouldn't do, but he does because it's fun for him, right? And like I was like, dude, Felix Imler, like I learned a bunch of what I'm talking about from that dude. Go check him out, right? And like it's good to be borrowing from each other, because I think I took what Felix was doing, and I think that I did what I did with it a little bit better, right? And then maybe he sees that, and then maybe he'll do something a little bit better, right? And we just keep getting better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because
Like,
that's what I've also seen.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people have gotten way better than you look back 5-10 years, and
Yeah.
the content wasn't that great.
Yeah.
And now there's a lot of amazing content and like really creative ideas that you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's,
Well, where did that come from?
yeah.
And that's and like Jamie's a genius at this. Like he is like an editing, filming genius, and he's always on YouTube, like looking at what different people are doing, like transitions, and then he has his own original ideas, and then we incorporate all that. And I mean, like before Jamie was involved, I was shooting everything on a GoPro, right?
Yeah.
It was fun. It didn't look very good. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, there's that extra. And does this ever bug you? Because it bugs us. Like sometimes we work really hard on something, and the production, like it's all there.
Yeah.
And it doesn't quite get as much views or likes as somebody's just phone pic.
Yeah.
Like really bad lighting, but what was in the picture was was something popular. So we got a ton of engagement, even though like they didn't really try that hard to make that content.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things for us that's a little it's
Well, it even happens with your own
demotivating.
stuff.
depressing.
Yeah.
You know, depressing
Yeah, I know
where
what you
you're
mean.
like, man, we're trying so hard and this is getting more where it's just let's just do that. But then we're like, no, we're not gonna do that.
But it even happens with your own stuff. It's not even necessarily somebody else's. It's like you do
No,
you
yeah,
do this
yeah,
really
yeah.
fancy
Yeah.
video, and then while you were
Yeah.
doing it, you did a little quick thing on your cell phone, and that's the one that got all the views.
yeah, I'm not saying like other people's, but we do stuff on our phone all the time.
Yeah. The funny thing with that is yes and no. So I don't ever compare myself against anybody else. I think comparison's the thief of joy, right?
Yeah,
like
for
you
sure.
compare yourself regularly with other people, you're never going to be happy, right? But I do compare myself to myself, right?
Your past, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So if I have a video or a piece of content or whatever, right, that I've created, and it's like not as good as maybe like something else that I've done, or it's better, I think it's better, but it doesn't perform as well. That's when I get bummed out.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, dude, this video is like so much cooler than this other video, and like nobody saw it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but then you just move on and keep going.
Do you recycle content?
No,
really.
not really.
And see, that's the thing. Like I was saying, like we need to.
Yeah.
Because we've created so much content, and sometimes it just didn't get seen at the right moment or by the right person.
Yep.
And so we can use it again. It's fine. Like
Well-
most of it's not topical anyway.
And that's the thing is with us going full time, like we've got all these videos that we could be breaking up into short form videos, right? And so we could be putting some of that out on YouTube Shorts and on Reels and blah blah blah, right? Definitely, we want to do that. It's a manpower thing for us,
Yeah.
right? Like right now, at least.
And see, for like I don't know, it sometimes to me, and this is another one for me, it feels lazy.
Yeah.
Like you're almost being lazy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like you worked hard on that.
Well, and not just
Like
that.
at one point, you worked hard.
Yeah,
on
not
it.
only did you work hard on it and you own it and that's your thing, but also sometimes recycling allows you to build some headspace, right? Like if you're constantly in create mode, then you can't be in strategy mode,
That
and
is
you got to have both. You know what I mean? So if you're constantly just like every day new. Okay, well let's recycle like every Tuesday or Thursday. Let's just recycle something that's already awesome that we've already put time into, and then I can free up my brain a little bit because I think it makes you a better creator.
Need a little bit of a breather.
You have
I was
to.
talking to Edgar the other day. I'm like, man, we just need to like just go out and do something for fun.
Yeah.
Like without having this certain like goal in mind.
This is what we're gonna film today.
Yeah. Where we're like, you know what? Fuck, like throw all this out the window. Just go fun. Even if it's not a knife, just practice some composition. Practice some lighting. Just for fun though. Like not. We need it.
Yeah.
But I mean.
And I'll do stuff like that.
Right now.
I'll do stuff like that from time to time just for storytelling. Because the only reason that I do video and stuff like that is I like to tell stories, right? And I used to tell stories by writing, which I still do, right? But like the main way I tell stories now is through video, right?
Yeah.
And so I like to storytell. So I mean, we have videos on the channel. I did this video. I was really proud of it. It was like kind of a philosophical love letter to waking up early in the morning and hitting the road and going on an adventure, right? Nobody really saw it. But that's okay because like I was stoked on it because I was like, dude, first off, it was an epic adventure. Second off, like I told my story. Like I did the thing, I had fun.
Yeah,
You know
we
what
had
I
that
mean?
happen once too.
Yeah.
I had this great actor. We did this video. Like we told this awesome story about a guy who went and took a class, right?
Yeah.
So
that
he
was
came. So
amazing.
he got back, and we put what he learned into. We put what he learned into a video.
Cue the
form.
video.
Right. Yeah.
We put what he learned into a video.
Yeah,
The video was
please.
great.
Please
he learned,
do not.
He learned a bunch of stuff.
Please don't. Do
We're not gonna do. We're not gonna do it.
Yeah.
But he learned.
Like, you're not, but
So the funny thing is in that video,
Yeah.
like where we show him breaking out of.
We were really
that was
excited
legit.
about that video.
That's
And we
it.
were excited.
Yeah.
It looked great. We were high fiving and shit.
Yeah.
We were like,
We got
fist bumps.
nothing but
we
shit
got
on
nothing,
that
and we
video.
just got shitted on.
Bad.
But
The video was
like,
horrible, but-
Like looking back,
Right.
that's great. That's
Yeah.
the best thing
No,
that could
no,
have happened.
they haven't done it again.
No, it's great.
Because you learn, right?
You know
You
why?
learn.
You know why I hated it? What happened to after you ran off?
We still don't have a continuation.
I never finished. Like, you don't know how the movie ended.
You guys gotta have to send me a link. I don't even know what you're talking about.
I'll-
here, so
I'll
send
take care of
it.
that.
Yeah,
I'll take care of that.
I gotta see this.
You know, talking about recycling footage,
look,
we're gonna recycle that one.
Look, Jesus isn't gonna get embarrassed by this because nobody's
why
gonna be like,
not?
"Oh, Jesus did the video."
I was the
gonna get embarrassed
producer,
by this.
director, cameraman.
I think
So-
we have a big enough budget for part 2.
No, I think I should be more embarrassed than you.
Why?
Nah.
Because it was like, hey, Craig, I was the one directing you. So if anything, it's my fault.
Yeah, but there's a big difference between being the guy behind the camera and the guy in front of the
No,
camera.
I've learned that. I've learned that. Trust me. For the longest time, you could never get
we
me in
were
front of a camera.
actually watching some old videos from Craig. How long? 5 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
Of you talking.
he's improved
about,
a lot. It's
talking
great.
about some knives, and it's so crazy how like even the lights. We're talking about like the lights and everything. How everything has changed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Even
Oh,
your
we don't
talking-
do anything the same anymore.
Yeah.
No.
Well, that's
Even-
good. You shouldn't, right? Like you should be growing. You know what I mean?
I still think we should finish that movie. Like,
Yeah, that's one thing we should keep on top of our list.
Hey, I'll tell you what. Me and Jamie will come and we'll help out. You
Yeah,
just
see,
let us
there you
know.
go.
Please.
We'll send you the link so you can see where.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is.
So we can
You're
get
not
some
the only
idea.
one that does embarrassing shit.
Maybe you can help us write
Can we tell-
the monologue.
Damn it.
Maybe we could finish the movie with his the thing we're gonna do.
You know,
with,
he can be
with
like
John.
5 years
No.
in the future.
No. I haven't agreed onto this still.
Oh, you were all about it 2 seconds ago.
I told him I do.
I'm
So can we tell
executive.
Zach our plan? And then you tell us whether it's a good idea.
I haven't even agreed to this. So no.
Okay, wait. So just so if you actually want my honest opinion, I'm an honest guy. So just there's that.
Oh, this was John's idea.
Please
so
tell him
if you
it's
shit
a
on
bad
it, it's
idea.
great.
Okay.
Please tell them it's a bad idea.
Please shit on it.
Please tell us it's a good idea so we can do it. But for Thanksgiving, we're gonna have.
Oh, this one's good.
Yeah. No, for Thanksgiving.
Greg Turk right up there. He's all wait.
So for Thanksgiving, we're gonna dress up John as a turkey,
Okay.
and we're gonna have Leo like asking people if they've seen his turkey.
Okay.
But we weren't gonna tell him. We weren't gonna tell the people, so that we could get their honest reaction of them being like, what are you talking about?
Right.
And
Not
then-
like a live turkey.
No.
mind
Right.
you. Like
Yeah.
this is
Oh,
a
a
turkey
cooked-
ready to get cooked.
He'll be a cooked turkey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Or a
Yes.
raw turkey.
Yes.
It's a raw
Okay.
turkey,
Great.
and we found a costume, but it doesn't get. I might not get here in time. But see, the idea was
They already ordered the costume, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh no, they've ordered a lot of things. I still. I will
He's gonna
not-
be a mermaid next
So-
year too.
so. This was one of those ideas that the end result wasn't necessarily the point. It was just
Yeah.
getting him to wear a turkey outfit.
Perfect. I love it.
I
And so-
up as
That was your Hollywood budget idea.
yeah.
And then
And so we had to work an end goal
right.
so that we could do all this. And so
Perfect.
it's Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Thanksgiving. Yeah.
And the reactions of people seeing him in a turkey outfit after being asked if they've seen Leo's turkey.
So Leo comes through first, and then he comes through.
And
like,
then later,
like is he like scared, like he's getting hunted or something?
he's just
Or-
walking around.
He's just going to be
walking
John.
walking around.
He's just going to be John.
Do not give him ideas.
Look at John. Look at John, and just imagine him being like excited about
A
anything.
juicy turkey
Okay.
leg, man.
Okay.
It
Yeah,
just
perfect.
doesn't happen.
I signed up as
So-
a videographer, and I ended up being as a stunt double.
No, it's fine.
You should see the stuff they make me do. Like
man.
for last Halloween, I had to get
cried.
in a lake.
Yeah.
I don't know how to swim.
Oh, really?
That's why he's going to be a mermaid next year.
That might be a problem. That might be a
He,
problem.
he had a panic attack in the lake.
Oh, that's not
I
good.
didn't know how to swim.
Yeah.
He
Hey, that's
All he
fair.
had to
That's
do
a
is
fair
all he had to
reaction.
do is stand up.
That's a fair reaction.
did cry a little bit.
He
But it
did.
was great.
Yeah, and since then I haven't let him do any stunts with me.
Yeah.
So this
We
turkey
always
thing,
get borderline abuse, but it's still.
You get to the line and back off.
you should see how they start. These
There
ideas
was
start.
there was one video.
This is the best
where
part of the-
one
like,
of
this
our
is-
guys did actually get slapped,
Oh, really?
yeah, hard.
but it wasn't like.
It wasn't planned to be hard.
So what
No.
happened is I told this
We
kid
double
like,
gloved that,
slap
so.
him.
Right.
As like, but I never actually said don't actually slap him. This is just a video.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he fucking slapped him with a glove. Like it was this Cinco de Mayo video we did where the
French,
kid
yeah.
was pretending like he was French and he was slapping the Mexican kid in the
Okay,
face.
yeah.
He's like, I challenge you to a duel. And slaps him, but hard.
And then we had two gloves in there.
And the best part of the whole video was the kid that got slapped being like, we're done. Like walking off. Like, I'm not doing this.
That's what I'm saying. Like the stuff we don't plan, that's the greatest.
Oh,
Right.
It was great.
Right.
So-
Well,
Yeah.
it goes back to authenticity, right? Like that's the authentic moment, right? And so that's like, if you're looking to create around that idea, it's like, okay, how do you harness that,
Yeah.
right? Like how do you take that and then turn it into a story? Because if you're creating content, like you have to alter a little bit the thing that you're doing and the thing you're saying or the way you want to portray your authenticity because it has to come across,
Yeah.
right? Like you have to understand it on the other side of the camera, right?
Yeah.
What I mean, maybe that's just for me. What would you do different? Because I can watch your, I don't know, 25-minute video of you talking about all your knife collection.
Yeah.
And you can go through it. A lot of people can't make videos like that. You can't go through them. But if you had manpower, what would you do different? Like, let's say you had
You had budget and
you
more
had
people.
budget and you had like a.
He wanted to
Would you
say
be-
us.
I was gonna say
He wanted to say us.
It's us. Like, what would you do different in your videos?
He'd be Mr. Zack in the Wild.
Yeah,
Mr. Beast.
Mr. Zach.
Mr.
Yeah. No, I think. I think I'd put out more. I'd put out more content, right? Like I think because I have a lot of ideas for this channel specifically that I think could be really fun and really awesome. I think the other thing too is there's a lot of knife history, and me and Ben were just talking about this in a recent video. There's so much knife history that is still alive, right? Like Sal Glesser put the pocket clip on a pocket knife. You know what I mean? Like that dude's still alive. Right, like Eric Glesser was also kind of part of that process, right? Like, so there's these legends that are still alive, and their stories just aren't being told. And like, not only that, but these innovations aren't even being told, right? Like, like the full story on the Rambo knife is actually a really interesting story. Nobody's telling that story. You know what I mean? So I think that what I would do if I had more manpower is I'd put out more content. But I would hone in on some of these history pieces, right? And hone in on places like Tops, right? And like, dude, let's tell the story. Like, you guys started in like 95, right? Like
98.
Yeah, 98. Like, you guys started in 98. Like, I don't know a bunch of your story. Like I want to know more of that, right? And like turning them into like really good produced videos. We've me and Jamie have done shop tours together. Like we've been to Hogue, we've been to Germany at Boker, we've been to ProTech, we've been to all these places, right? Like, do that for everyone. You know what I mean? Like, get that knowledge out there. And like, because so much of it's tribal knowledge right now. Like, if I need to find something, I've got to go to 13 different forums. I got to go back to 2003 on some forum and start reading about it. And then I get all the information, which is great. But if you're looking to get into this, or if you're looking to like
You need a
understand,
researcher.
Yeah, if you're looking to understand how rad like the knife world is, and like that it's not just like a stabby, pokey, kill you tool, right? Like, there's so much more to pocket knives and knives in general than that. Like, I think that we'd get so many more people, one, carrying knives, and two, interested in what we do, right? Like, and why we do it, right? Yeah. Like, I think there's so much interesting stuff that's what I would do.
Yeah, because
So you would hire a researcher first.
No,
That'd be
no.
like the
I
first thing.
want to do the research.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I would want to hire people to help with all the other stuff, right? So that I could do the research and I could write scripts because, again, I like to tell stories. So like, if I did one thing, like, be on camera, not be on camera, like, that's not even that important to me. I want to tell the stories, right?
Even some actual knife history is kind of lost.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
there was a knife, the Nada. We released it 4 years ago, something like that. maybe 3 years ago. Try and find information about that on the internet.
Yeah.
Like it's in books, it's around somewhere.
Yep.
But when I was trying to like write the press release and kind of like talk about how this tool became a thing,
Yep.
it was hard to find information, and it's a common thing in Japan.
Yeah. I'm putting together a piece right now on Bowie knives, and it's wild. Like, dude, I have 5 books. Like, I've like read so many blog posts because I want to do a good Bowie knife piece, right? Like, and so there's so much with Bowie knives that like for example, I know like Lynn Thompson, Sal Glesser, they both carry these huge buoys inside of their waistband. That's like a traditional way to carry a Bowie knife. I couldn't tell you why. I can't find a single reason why, other than like your standard reasons to carry it inside a waistband. But I know that's like the
But
notch.
somebody started that.
Like the notch on the Bowie sheath is specifically so it doesn't slip down your pants. Why? Who started that? Why did they start it? What was the reason? Because I promise you it was some utility-based reason, right? Maybe it was like combative. Okay, great. I don't know though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, there's all these little things that I just think would be so fun.
Or it might be just that some dude was doing it.
Yeah.
And then everybody just copied him.
And literally, it could have been just like, oh, that looks cool. You know what I mean?
Have you asked Lynn
It was
Thompson?
an error.
No, I haven't had a chance
Dude,
to ask him.
next time you need to ask him.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Blade Show West, he pulled it out.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, what the heck? Like,
Yeah.
It's insane. Did you see it? The one that Lynn Thompson like carries, the buoy?
Yeah,
He pulled it out where?
Blade.
Blade Show. I just said that.
he's got like, it's like a 12-inch buoy. Like,
he
it's
did a
insane.
video.
You're talking about a room that's got fucking
his
5,000
channel.
people in
On
it.
his
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I got a
Lynn
video.
Thompson.
I got a video.
Okay, I got it. Now I got you. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
now everybody else listening understands as well.
Anyways, I wanted to say that that's pretty cool, the
you a hug?
history.
I'm good now. Thank
Because
you.
we just did a show, and it was funny how like if people were just educated a little bit, how crazy like the whole industry would change.
Oh, yeah.
Because you set a $20 knife in the booth in front of us that's made in China,
Yep.
and a knife that's made in the U.S. and how much like craftsmanship goes into it. Someone's gonna like 9 out of 10 people are gonna pick that $20 knife.
Yep.
Why?
Because it has dragons on the scales or
it's
whatever.
$20.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Or it's $20.
Because it's
right?
$20.
Because if they lose it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, going back to the Axial thing, right? Like they did a great job marketing and telling a story that anybody could think was funny and cool. But the second they're trying to sell a $250 knife, everybody's like, it's not worth it. It's like, well, I mean, it's American-made OTF. It's probably worth it. You know what I mean?
they never gave the reason why.
Exactly.
Why they should.
Yep. Exactly.
Do you ever focus? Because right now, I mean, even Mr. B says I was watching a lot of videos that he's being interviewed by a lot of people. So like,
Yeah.
he was making.
Yeah, he's
his
been
runs.
making the rounds right on the podcast
Yeah,
and stuff. Yeah.
and
He'll
so
be
he-
here next week.
Stay tuned.
Cool. I'll be back next week.
And he talks about
Thanksgiving.
like you should focus
Figure it out.
on short form on YouTube. Is that something you guys are doing too, or
It's something we'd like to do, but it's a manpower thing. You know what I mean? Like Jamie's getting in and he is grabbing some clips, and we are starting to do that. But I think again, I can tell you certain things that I know for sure. Like algorithm's going to like this. This is
it likes shorts?
Yeah, well, this is my hypothesis, right? Because it likes shorts, but how that actually plays out, we don't really know yet. Like it is not exactly
Yeah,
clear.
as of
However,
now,
however, there is some terms of service stuff changing in 2023 that YouTube's been talking about, and the shorts platform is going to be a lot more important to
because
that.
we've been testing it lately,
Yeah.
and every time we post a short, like some of them get like 20,000,
Yeah.
25,000 views, like that.
Yeah.
And then you post like a long form video, they'll do like 1,000.
Yeah.
What I like
but this
about-
is the question with shorts though, is like, okay, cool, 20,000 views, but how does that count towards your AdSense? How does that count towards your view count on YouTube? How does that count towards the algorithm favoring or not favoring? Because right now it's candy, right? Like right now they're just feeding it because they're like, we have to do short form video, so they're feeding candy. I think in 2023 we're going to really see what shorts will mean for like the growth of a channel, right?
Yeah, because Mr. Beast was saying that they're going to give you what, like 40% of
It's like
like
crazy.
ad
Yeah, it's
revenue?
insane.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah. So I think they're really
Because
not-
right now, he, I mean, obviously he has connections into YouTube
yeah,
because he's
yeah.
Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
So he's like,
he is YouTube,
yeah,
bro.
he's telling you, he's like, you need to do shorts. He's like, you
Yeah.
need to do shorts. So
Yeah.
to me, it's more like he kind of knows something that
Yeah.
they're really going to push the shit out of shorts. So if you're not in it already, like,
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like about shorts is the thumbnails.
Yeah, and dude, that's actually funny that you say that right now because that's what I was gonna. Okay, whatever. Another cool thing that they're gonna implement about shorts
was a good
because
one.
I hate how it looks on your feed. Like I hate going to
Yeah,
someone's
yeah.
channel,
Yeah.
and a lot of people don't post shorts because of how ugly that makes their channel look.
Yeah.
But they're gonna make that whole thing that they're
They
gonna
changed it.
separate.
They
have to
changed it now.
separate it, yeah,
they,
they-
have
yeah.
their long forms now, and then they have a
Yeah.
tab where you can click shorts. So they changed that now.
Yeah.
And I think that was like what a lot of people were holding back. Not a lot, but some people. Because
No, I agree. It like it doesn't actually matter, but I'm with you. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, it looks kind of ugly, and then it also like it changes up like Like we'll have shorts that we'll get like 10,000 views, 7,000 views, whatever, and then I have like videos on either side of it that have like over 100,000, and I'm like, I want this thing to say what these things say. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy how they're all trying to be TikTok because as soon as TikTok came out, all of a sudden, like
They're all betting on TikTok getting banned.
because
yeah.
even Snapchat has their little section for like reels, you know, and then Facebook has their thing now. Instagram has reels. TikTok obviously.
Twitter
is
wants
TikTok.
to bring back Vine.
Yeah, we should just do that. They should have never killed off Vine.
If
We've never had
Meta's
TikTok.
not lobbying to get or to get TikTok banned from the United States, I'd be shocked. You know what
Oh,
I
they
mean?
have
Like,
to be.
Yeah, at least
like,
quietly.
quietly,
Yeah.
quietly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
or,
whole-
or instead of
All that money that's going to the metaverse is actually going to get TikTok banned.
All those billions of dollars.
all those
it's just-
billions he's losing.
that's what I was thinking. Maybe he's banking all his money that he's thrown into Meta, like thinking, all right, your TikTok's not going to matter after we figure this out.
Yeah.
It'd be cool, but it's just a logistics thing, man. Who's going to be wearing...
Well,
like
I
that
mean,
stuff?
but
No,
also like
that's where it starts.
Think 15, 20 years ago, who's going to have the money to carry a cell phone around all day?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Once you
we're
get that
literally
cost down,
we're
yeah.
literally all carrying $1,200 computers in our pockets.
Yeah.
Who would have thought 20 years ago we'd have $1,200 to just blow on some pocket computer? You know, nobody. Like you couldn't even afford a Nokia. You're like, I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's
things
$120.
were
Are you
amazing.
kidding me?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But now it's become like essential. So like with the metaverse, I'm not saying this is what's going to happen. Just like again,
It's going to be like Avatar.
philosophy. I like to do experiences. You know what I mean? So like with metaverse, like it could become like, okay, cool. This is your work environment. Like you don't go into the office, you go into the meta office, right? So you have to have one for work. Like I have to have a cell phone for work. You know what I mean? Like
We're
that type
clipping
of
this
thing.
for 10 years. So a Gary Vee move.
There's my idea for it.
Philosopher's Zach.
Guys, I think I'm getting really
He
sick.
stopped doing knife videos, and he's now a philosopher.
Did you see the VR set that
You
one guy
pushed the
made?
guy into the train tracks, was it?
The VR set that dude made that can kill you. Did you see that one?
Great
No.
news.
He actually made one so like if you die
I saw that.
in the metaverse, you actually
You
die.
get shot. It'll. He said because nothing is gonna. What I can't remember what he said, but nothing is gonna force you to interact. I can't like
have like
that danger.
moral like engagements or something like that. Like,
Have you seen?
Because I think it's later on it's going to be something like way more
I think later on we're just gonna find out that we've been doing it the whole time.
right.
Yeah.
That would be wild.
well, I mean,
that we've been in a simulation the whole time, and then
yeah, I mean, you guys want to get into string theory because we could get into
Yeah,
like
go
quantum
with the
physics and
string- I
string
love
theory.
we can get in there.
Yes.
You guys want to get into some string?
Yes,
yeah,
we
let
do.
us know because I like that shit.
Actually,
Shokaku?
So some of these relative guys that are doing work in this area, they actually are saying that we probably are. Like statistically, they're like we're actually probably in some sort of simulation.
They're the ones that talk about the 12 dimensions or something.
Yeah,
like that,
well,
12,
and
11,
they actually
12, yeah.
they've actually like so. The definition of real is a lot different for like these guys that are working in theoretical realms, right? But they've actually they are like claiming they're saying that this is not real. Like what we live in is not real. Like they're saying that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
So
at-
they build
Yeah,
this.
no, you should read it. It's wild. It's wild. You should read it. It's wild.
They
But here-
build this whole story of if at some point we can get to the point where we can simulate life
Yep.
to the degree that it feels real
Yep.
before we blow ourselves up or the sun burns out or whatever.
Right.
And we're talking that's a long fucking
time.
time out,
Long
right?
time. Yeah.
If we can do that before that happens, then we could create our own simulation.
Yep.
Now, once we have the computer power to create a simulation that can be real enough that you feel it, that everything, the depth is there, all of that. Now you run that simulation with that computer, and you can run that simulation millions and millions and millions of times.
Yep.
So, if that is possible, the odds of us being in a simulation are
really high.
100%.
extremely high.
Like 99.7.
Yeah.
Well, and this is, I mean, Descartes was dealing with this in 15th, 16th century, right? Like sitting in his bathrobe in front of his fire. And basically what he posits is are we all brains in vats, right? Like what he's doing is he's trying to prove the existence of a God, right? And so he's like, okay, either God is good or God is bad. And here are the reasons that God is good. Here are the reasons that God is bad. The world is mostly good, therefore God is good and God exists, is what he comes to. But before he gets there, he's basically asking, are we brains in vats? But really, at the end of the day, does it matter? Like
My experience is going to be the same.
my experience is real,
Yeah,
right? Like
to
whether
me,
I'm in a
dude.
vat, whether I'm in a real universe, whether I'm whatever, right, in a simulation, my experience to me is real. Therefore, my actions and thoughts are real. And so that's taking ownership, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm a brain in a vat, sick, I'm a brain in a vat. Okay. And here's my experience, and I'm going to live that experience to truth,
Yeah.
right? Like that's what I'm going to do. You know what I mean? That's my theory.
Yeah,
on
I
it.
think either way,
it just doesn't matter.
it's either it either is or it's not. And
Yeah.
then-
I
Like,
seen
I'm
it with
gonna-
my own eyes.
I'm gonna
There is a
love the, I'm
simulation.
gonna love the people that I love. I'm gonna treat the people well that I treat well, and I'm gonna live my life the best I can.
The only way for me, the only way it makes a difference is if you can do something about this. Like with this
Right.
information, if you can like manipulate it so your life is just so much better.
right. Like if you could
Yeah.
hack the
Yeah,
matrix.
if you can hack
right?
a little
yeah,
bit, but-
yeah.
Oh, so the secret.
Yeah.
It could be the
Just
secret, man.
put it- that's
All
not
the
a
rich
secret.
people are saying the
Put
secret.
it in the universe. I'm gonna be a millionaire in a year.
So how many times have you used DMT?
Oh shit! You know, funny enough, never actually.
Yeah,
No hallucinogenics.
You always have to
Nope.
say yet.
Yeah. There we
Yeah.
go. Not yet.
I've seen. Well, I didn't use
No
that,
plans,
but
no
like
plans.
when I was remember when we went to
You licked the
we
battery.
played no we played poker here and then we played poker at so and so's house over
Oh,
there.
when you puked on that carpet?
Yeah. So I saw a simulation in front of me, like that's.
Yeah.
So I believe it's real,
Yeah.
because to me what happened
The
was
hell
like.
were you smoking?
So I saw, so I saw them like right.
Yeah.
I saw them and they were arguing. They did something, and all of a sudden they just went, and then all of a sudden the same thing happened, but they were like happy, and then something like, and then
That sounds
something
like
else would happen.
Crack cocaine, man.
No, it wasn't.
Here's the thing: is like you look at what
He
a
was
lot of
watching
these.
the mirror. He was watching Black Mirror.
Right, Black Mirror. Yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah.
just fell asleep.
You look at like what some of these psychonauts have done, like Alan Watts and some of these other guys that were experimenting with like DMT and LSD back in the day, right? Dude, they'll swear to you there's another dimension. They swear to you that they're going and talking to other people in other places. Sick, whatever.
The crazy
You know
thing
what I
is,
mean?
like a lot of the stuff, they see the same
A lot of
types
it jives.
people.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
A lot of
That-
it jives.
That's the only thing that
what's
gets me.
weird.
It's like what?
Yeah, like how they coalesce
Yeah.
on like this guy said this thing and he was this way, and it's like, bro, I saw that guy saying
Yeah.
this thing and he
Yeah.
was this way. You
They
know?
talked about it
the
on
way
that podcast, too.
Sometimes the way they describe like the colors that they see and the beings that talk to them,
Is he colorblind?
very
in that?
very similar.
But see, this is the other interesting thing, and like whether we do have like some sort of physical substance that can like elevate us to a different plane of thought, sick, that's rad. But also, right, like all of our brains are wired exactly the same. I don't care where you live in the world. Like if you're human, if you're Homo sapien, all of our brains are wired the same. And for most cultures across the world, all of our archetypes are the same as well, right? So if we do have something that's accessing some part of our brain and turning on archetypes and like allowing us to access whatever it is, that could also just be us visualizing the way that our subconscious works. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's not actually going anywhere for reals, but it's visualizing the way that our subconscious
it's a brain
works.
function that we all have.
Exactly. Exactly. And I mean that even that's cool. I think that's rad too. You know what I mean? What I think is really neat with DMT, I mean, we're on a podcast, so we might as well talk about DMT. What I think is really cool,
have to.
what I think is really cool about
And we have to talk about monkeys too.
yeah. We'll get to primates.
Oh, he hit. No, he.
They can rip your arms off. Anyways, I think something that's really cool with DMT that's being done that's provable is its treatment of PTSD.
Oh yeah, for like microdosing and stuff.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, they've got these guys that have been through the worst of it, right? Waking up with night terrors, like for years, like suffering
On multiple medications.
Yeah, like
on-
horrible.
yeah.
Go in for one treatment, 1 6-hour treatment, no nightmares ever again.
That's
It's
amazing.
wild. And to me, it's like, okay, and like I'm the type of guy that like there are things in the world that I do or don't agree with, but I also don't think anybody should tell me as an adult what I can and can't do with my body. That's kind of my philosophy in life. So like the fact that like a plant is illegal is silly to me. It's absolutely silly, right? And so to see it being used as a medicine and to see it being rediscovered as a medicine, because like people have known this, right? It's really cool to see how effective it can be to help people, and I think that's sick. Like that's what I'm on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of stuff like that is just arbitrary. Like,
Yeah.
how is alcohol legal and weed is not?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you why. Because the guy that was running the drug administration in the 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
No, the guy that was running the drug administration in the 20s and 30s had nothing to do. And he's like, okay, what don't people like? And there was a lot of people immigrating from Mexico at the time. He's like, well, people don't like Mexicans. What do Mexicans do? They smoke pot. Okay, cool. We're going to make pot illegal so that we can create an enemy. And we can fight this fake enemy. And then Nixon's like, sick, we're going to make it even more illegal so that we can raid Black Panthers and hippies whenever we want because they're going to have pot at their place. Right? It's all just created.
Yeah, and it
You know what I
and
mean?
so it
Like-
has nothing to do with the actual thing.
Yep, exactly. And I personally, I don't smoke pot. But I don't care what people do, right? If you're not hurting somebody else, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
And
that's
with
where
you.
I'm at.
I'm
Yeah.
with you. Like alcohol is like, take a pothead and take it like a raging alcoholic. There's going to be an effect on society that's going to differ there.
Yeah,
You know what I
huge
mean?
difference.
Like-
There's those chill, the other ones.
The level
Exactly.
of violence or weight. Yeah,
Oh
yeah. There's
drunk driving, like all, like exactly.
yeah. And I mean, granted, you shouldn't be driving if you're fucking high.
Yeah,
either.
you should alter,
You know?
right? Like, yeah, exactly.
Like you should, it's all the same stuff, but it's one of those things where
Yeah, that's
this stuff has been happening for a long time. A lot of a lot of the justification they're trying to do with some of the DMT and stuff like that is they go back to like Native American tribes, and when they would war with each other, because those fuckers hated each other.
Oh yeah, there was.
I mean,
yeah,
like all the videos you see now where like all these people from different tribes
No,
are
they
like,
hate
oh,
each
we're
other.
all friends. It's like no,
yeah,
no. When you guys captured people, you murdered them slowly and as painfully as possible to extract every bit of information you could.
Well, I mean, yeah, there were genocides. I mean, humans here are going to human.
Yeah.
I don't care where you're at in the world. Humans are going to human, unfortunately. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like,
And so to bringing it back,
Yeah.
these tribes would war and they would go back, and their return was not like our guys return from war now. They would come back to their families. They would be welcomed back.
it'd
They'd
coalesce.
kind of be like forgiven immediately of whatever crazy shit they had done. And a lot of times they would smoke peyote, or they would have some other drug, or they would have some other thing that they would do as a group, and that's how they brought people back. And that's
and then
why
sacrifice babies.
Well,
then they would murder slowly the people that they captured.
Right,
Yes.
right. That's how they'd bond, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, what you have there is right. Like you have community, right? You have an entire community that's not removed from violence, right? And not just violence in hurting other humans, but the violence of processing your own food, the violence of surviving, right?
Yep.
And then you also have like that community staying together. Like when we're talking about veterans, like it's like the veteran suicide rate has skyrocketed over the last 15, 20, 30 years. And we have less combat veterans than we've ever had, right? And the reason that it has, well,
Except for the last like 20 years.
right.
Yeah.
The reason that they posit is that people are coming in, they're having a group, they're having a brotherhood or a sisterhood, like, they're having a group, right? Then they come home and they have nobody that they can talk to. They have nobody that they can, even if they weren't combat veterans, right? So we're losing more of our veterans to suicide than we're losing to like
wars, yeah.
wars. That's wild, right? And it's like, obviously we're failing, right? As a community to not be able to take our brothers and sisters and help them out in some way, right? But also
they're not welcomed back the same way.
Yeah.
Communities are way different than they used to be.
yeah,
Plus,
exactly.
if there's a shot that this helps, it'd be wrong not to try it.
Exactly.
Of course.
Completely
Of course.
Yeah, because
Completely
they're like, it's happening anyway.
Yeah.
Might as well give it a shot.
Well, and it's not just PTSD or PTS. I don't know what the politically correct word is on it, but like it's not
Shell
just that.
shock.
Yeah, it's anxiety, it's depression, it's like all these things that honestly are probably caused because we're all on our phones all the time, right? Like I was talking about cigarettes, cancer, right? It's probably that stuff. But like if that can help you get out of your head and help fix some of that, that'd be awesome. Everybody I know is like dealing with something right now, and like that'd be rad if you could like go to a doctor in the right setting, microdose something in a safe environment, right? And then like be like, okay, cool, my brain's a little more fixed now. You know what I mean? Like that'd be rad, you know? Like
or you were where you started.
yeah, exactly.
I mean,
whatever
look,
it is. Yeah, exactly. Anyways,
Yeah, it's like it's a way more controlled environment. You know, you could do this in your house with your buddies, or you can do it with a shaman who's like who's going to be with you the whole way through that trip, trying to keep you like from stepping off.
And what's a shaman? All a shaman is a shaman is a therapist. That's
Referee?
it's a referee. It's somebody who's instructed in the way to help
it's a-
guide you through an experience you're having, right?
That's a guy who's been through it already.
It's a tour guide.
Exactly. And that's
a
why
tour.
monkeys do DMT.
No, because I recently been watching that show that I was telling you about and listening to those guys, and I don't know, this might sound kind of dumb, but
It sounds like
you know, like the ancient Egyptians, they would like it's proven, it's a fact that they were using some sort of like I forgot the plant there, but it makes them hallucinate.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that also helped them with their technology of that time.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so like this is how they were able to build like these pyramids, these huge structures.
Allegedly, let's say allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah. We don't have exact.
Yeah.
But do you think like if we started using that now, that's gonna like help us like
I don't know,
figure out cures like for
I don't
example
humans
like
are
cancer and things like that. And
One of the smartest they've ever been ever,
Right, but that's the thing is like at one point
but not all of us.
at one
That's the
point,
problem.
at one point, there was an apex hominid that wasn't Homo sapien that was the smartest that had ever been, right? And we're 20 times smarter than
Oh,
that.
yeah.
And I mean, that's like, there's actually an interesting book. It's called, I think it's called The Stoned Ape, making jokes about monkeys doing DMT. But what the stoned ape does is it's basically like there was a group of, I think they think it was in Africa, but basically there was a group of hominids, right, that were like, that there was fungus that would grow in dung, that was mushrooms basically, right? And they started doing mushrooms, and that's actually what started evolving our brains, was them. So like when you're talking about the idea of like opening up possibilities, it's actually like, it's a pretty healthy theory in the scientific community that people are like, that might actually be how we got higher conscious thought, was like through those experiences and then growing. So maybe Like that'd be crazy, right?
Yeah, they recently released this. It's a Netflix series. It's called Ancient Apocalypse, I think.
Oh yeah, with a
Graham
something
Hancock.
Graham or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so to me, what's weird is like he's finding all these places that, like where there used to be like some sort of pyramid or some sort of
Yeah.
structure, and then like they'll take pieces, like they'll dig down, take the pieces, and like date them, and they date way back, like before when we think there was first like some sort of
like post. It's like pre Ice Age or during Ice Age. They're doing things that weren't supposed to happen until after Ice Age, right?
Yeah,
So
so
the way
a
he
lot
puts
of,
stuff together makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
the dude's just a journalist. He's
Do you-
he's not even a scientist.
Do you know my one problem though with that series and like in series in general? I would love to hear from somebody in the scientific community
The
that
other
disagrees
point,
with
yeah,
him.
the other
Yes,
point.
that's
Why
why
Joe
like,
Rogan
why-
wanted to get like
Yeah,
So
two
yeah,
he
different
has
people.
done that. He
Yeah.
has done that.
That's awesome.
This Graham
Yeah, yeah.
Hancock guy, he's been on Joe Rogan's
Couple
podcast
times.
probably 3 times.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And at least one of them was him arguing with somebody else.
Okay, cool. I need to watch that one.
But what is cool about him is he, like a lot of this stuff, ancient Egyptians, ancient Americans, like all the different places, it's all archaeology,
Right,
which is one branch of science,
right.
and they ignore everything that doesn't match the story that they've created.
models,
So
right.
and Egyptologists are kind of like notorious for this. Anybody that comes along and says, "Hey, you might have gotten this hieroglyphic wrong because of this,"
Right.
they're like, "Nah, get the fuck out." And they don't even allow you on the sites if you disagree with what they think it is. And so, like, they ignore geologists. So, like, the Sphinx shows all sorts of weather from water.
Okay. Oh yeah,
which-
yeah. I've seen this like
which
the water lines.
shouldn't be
and-
possible
Right.
if it was built when the Egyptologists say it was.
right.
And they say, well, no, that's wind and all this, and it's like, no, that creates a different kind of thing on this type of stone because geologists know and they fucking research it.
Yeah, like they know
Right.
rocks, right? Like,
Yeah, and so they ignore it, but they just ignore it. They just cast
Interesting.
it out. And
Yeah.
what's cool about what Graham
Oh, we're
does
boring you?
What's cool about what Graham does is he tries to incorporate the other branches of science
Yeah.
into the archaeology.
Well, and I've always enjoyed. I've heard some of his stuff on Joe Rogan, and then I've watched 1 or 2 of the episodes of the Ancient Apocalypse. I love it, but that's the one thing I'm watching it, and they're talking about these strata layers, and they're talking about this and that, and I'm like, okay. And he's like the whole scientific community, which I agree. Like I've seen the other podcast, but I'm just like, but I want to hear the other side, right? And that's
Yeah.
something that we miss so much.
To see if if it makes sense
Yeah,
too.
like going back to media stuff, right? That's something that we miss so much. Is like you're only hearing one side in any way. So then you start listening to that one side. Now you're only seeing
Yeah,
the one.
it's like for
side,
example, if you
right?
have a
Like-
cube here, but you're only seeing the red
Yep.
side, and he's only seeing the green side.
Yep.
But the actual thing
Yeah,
is
keep
that
trying to
it's
describe it.
multicolored.
Yeah. No, it's like no,
Yeah.
that green. It's a
Yeah,
green cube,
yeah.
bro. You know, like
Just fucking turn it.
yeah. So no, I've been enjoying the series. I think it's a lot of fun, but that's the one thing I'm like, man, you guys should really have dissenting opinion, even if it was the last 5 minutes. Just give me a dissenting opinion where I could go and like read another paper that like dissents.
There's a few things that have like logical explanations too.
Oh, yeah.
and they're like they did it because the solar system was so this one's so this orbit is this distance, this orbit. Yeah,
Yeah.
but so is the 1.6, the magic number, or
right.
whatever.
Yeah.
Everything in nature is like
Is
that.
this? Yeah.
The golden ratio.
The golden ratio.
golden
Everything
ratio, yeah.
like the golden ratio exists everywhere.
Yep.
Plants. So it's easy to see if you just copy that.
Well, and
Okay.
also, yeah,
And
like
then-
if you're a human that's living in the like we don't live in golden ratio now, right? Like we're blocked off from everything, right? But if you're a human living in the golden ratio, you're naturally your brain
Naturally
is
go.
going to just like distance and think about things that way,
yeah.
right?
So one of the hardest things to do is randomize stuff.
oh yeah,
Humans want to put it in patterns.
yep.
And the first thing that you do is put it in the golden ratio.
Yeah.
Just because that's what you do.
Right, because that's the
so
normal way our brains work.
It matches the solar system.
Yep.
But does it match the solar system because that's what they wanted?
Right.
Or because it just does?
Or does the golden ratio even exist, or is that the only way we can perceive nature?
Did we just invent
Do
it?
you get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, we just said it. Okay,
I
golden
mean,
ratio.
when we think about like all words are made up and all numbers are made up, it's just a way for us to help process what we're seeing.
That is
You know
true.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah. But it's fun to like think about. And,
yeah.
And
I
they
love it.
they should have more. Like I agree with him. Where if these guys are just shutting him out,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be like that.
agreed. Yeah.
And they should be able to talk and say, hey,
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
in a
they-
lot of cases, he's the dissenting opinion that they
Right.
just that the others ignore.
Well, and
But-
it's easy to ignore one guy, especially one guy that doesn't have a degree in the thing that you're talking about.
Be like, oh well, he
Yeah.
didn't go to school for it.
Yeah, exactly.
And another
Exactly.
thing that's cool about him,
fuck it right off.
because I read one of his books, The Fingerprints of the Gods. I think that's the one he's probably most.
Oh, I've been
most
wanting
famous
to
for.
read
The
that
Magician
one.
of the Gods.
Yeah, and that one's the second one.
Yeah.
And what's cool about it is like again, go back to the Egyptologists. They study Egypt,
Right.
and the pyramids in Egypt, and all of that. And this dude has been to like every fucking pyramid on Earth.
Yeah.
He's been up and down, and he's scuba dived, and he's climbed up. He's done it all, and he's seen it all, and so he's looking at it from like, how do these guys compare to these guys, and how does this over here fit in with this? And so he's seeing it from a perspective that most people, that nobody else is seeing it from.
It's like Zach in the Wild. He's going to be able to do that with knife companies.
Yeah, no, for real, real. It's that kind of thing. And so, you know, he's got this pretty wild theory that there was a civilization that encompassed the whole Earth, and and he's got a lot of explanations for it that make a lot of sense. Yep. And there's just no proof.
And the thing that I can really appreciate with him is that he's willing to be like, I think. He's willing to be like, see, and I think because of these things that there was an advanced civilization pre-Ice Age or post-Ice, whatever, you know, like around Ice Age. Like, that's one thing that I can really appreciate is that everything I've ever seen from him, not just that series, is that he's willing to be like, this is what I've seen, this is what I think, this is my idea, right? It's not like, for sure, you know what I mean? They're lizard people, right?
With him?
I mean, of course there are lizard people, but like...
Or at least they were.
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
No, but if his theory had come out before everything was like, this is how it is,
right,
he'd seem completely normal.
Yeah.
All that makes sense.
This is something I love about science, right? I remember it was actually on YouTube. It was a clickbait video. It was like, this is years ago, and it was like 20 of the dumbest things that scientists have ever done. And it was like 1832, blankety McBlank sauce tried to teach his dog how to read. And I'm like, that's science. Has anybody ever tried to teach them? Maybe dogs can read.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to teach your dog how to read? And now they got like the dog with the push buttons that knows what the words are. Right?
I've seen that. Yeah,
and it's like,
that's crazy.
The dog's, it's not reading, but it's definitely communicating in a way we didn't think it could. So like, I was like, that's something I love about science is like when it done right, it's like anything's possible, right? And then you take data and then you narrow it down, of course, right? Because everything can't be possible all the time. That's why philosophy started as all science and math. And then it split off because they're like, look, you guys can't even agree if zero is real. That's a real thing. Philosophy is still arguing zero is real, right? You can't even agree if zero
War
is real.
Machine thinks it's not.
Yeah. like you can't agree with this. Well, it doesn't matter. Like we need to function in the world, so we're going to create math. You know what I mean? And then you get math.
What's his name? The actor that played on Iron Man, the first, after he was replaced by Don Cheadle.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, I know who you're
He's
talking about.
trying to make his
Hustle
own
and Flow.
Yeah, him.
Yeah.
He's trying to make his own math.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah.
That's
Is
awesome.
it better than Common
That's why he
Core
quit
math,
being
or is it,
acting.
Really?
He quit acting.
What's to
'cause
do that?
He's following this, trying to create his own math.
Be authentic to yourself, man.
Yeah. He says zero isn't real or something. I can't remember what.
Yeah, no, philosophy can't agree. Like zero's real, zero's not. It's a whole thing. Yeah. So.
What are you doing?
You guys started scooting this way too much.
Sorry.
Did we really?
Sorry.
We're trying to get
It's
closer to
literally-
it.
it's the rolling chairs.
The
It's the
minute
rolling
you guys
chairs.
started talking about this guy, both of you started scooting this way.
Really?
Yeah, bad.
Because we're interested.
Another thing that he talked about, I don't know if you guys agree, he says that every president or who wants to be a president should take some DMT because I guess
Oh, yeah, he said that. Yeah, I remember. And they're all related. He didn't say that, but they are. Some little girl proved it. Yeah.
Yeah, like they all have but they're related through the mothers.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. It's like something weird, or like most of them are, or something like that. It's
Most of
wild.
them are Freemasons
42
too, right?
of them.
I'm sure. Yeah,
I don't know if they are
Oh
anymore,
man,
but they used to.
I've been reading about Mexican history.
Yeah.
And how in Mexican history, so you have the York and the I can't remember, but two Freemason two different.
Oh, I don't know anything about
branches.
Freemason. Yeah.
But they were kind of fighting over each other in Mexico, and they're the ones that made like the revolution, the Mexican Revolution.
Okay.
They made
Yeah.
it happen. They did a bunch of stuff down there.
That's
and
wild.
Made a mess with.
the Illuminati isn't real.
Yeah.
They
Wink.
They can go back to a lot with the Freemasons that has happened because of that organization.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's always interesting to me. For me, like you look back at like Watergate, right? Like Watergate with Nixon, right? Like all it had to be was 7 dudes all had to tell the same lie and nobody would have gotten in trouble. And they couldn't even tell you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like when
yeah.
I look at that and I'm like I don't know, man. Like there's definitely like not good there are bad actors in the world for sure, right? And like you see them in big ways like Hitler or like obvious stupid reasons, right? But then there's like a lot that you don't see, right? But like,
and you'll never see which
like,
is
but like a
scary.
group, but like a group of people correlating and working together to like steer things. For me personally, like when I look at that type of example, like Nixon Watergate, right? literally the most powerful government in the world, some of the most powerful men in the world, and they couldn't even keep their crap straight. I'm like, I don't know. Like, that's just me, though.
The only way
That's
they
just me,
can
though.
is if they all benefit.
Yeah, right. Like
If somebody knows that they can fuck the other guy and benefit,
right,
they're
then
going to flip.
Yeah.
And people fold under pressure too.
That's why I'm always skeptic
people-
about
It was him.
all the conspiracy theories.
Well, that's what happened in the Nixon thing, right? Is they were all worried that one of them was going to get pinned on. So then they started cracking.
That's why police use that tactic. Your buddy already snitched on you.
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
That's
Your buddy already
like
snitched
the
on you.
first thing they do.
First of all, he's not my buddy. So second of all, I know you're not.
I don't even know that guy.
Yeah.
You mean so and so who cheated on his girl?
Yeah, that's the
He's
first thing
snitching
they
on
do.
me.
Well, it was his idea to do it.
Yeah. Well, guess what? Did he tell you about the time we robbed the liquor store?
Yeah, exactly.
I like that we got into the whole DMT stuff because
It's a proper podcast now.
like
That's it. You know what
I think
mean?
every podcast episode we should get into some
With a
monkeys.
guest, and then that's our way to vet the guest.
Yes. Do they know enough about
Yeah.
DMT?
Give
And
him a
monkeys.
water bottle that's laced, and then to see how the conversation goes.
Yes.
That was the one.
Would you guys ever
That explains this.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
would you ever consider doing it? Like under the because you know how you can go over to Peru and they do the
I do
ayahuasca.
ayahuasca.
Yeah, ayahuasca or whatever.
That's
I mean,
a long trip, though,
like,
dude.
here's the thing. Like,
DMT's
people love
fast.
it. This is my philosophy in life is rules are for people who need them. That's my philosophy in life. Like literally, I that's fully live and believe.
That's your
that.
rule?
That's my rule. That's my rule. Like people who rules are for people who need them. So, anyways, like to your question, right? I mean, it's something that's interested me, but like honestly, like I've done a lot of. Like I'm a religious
Drugs?
dude.
Oh.
I'm a religious dude. So like I've done a lot of fasting. I've done a lot of like just like sleep deprivation stuff just to experiment for fun. I mean, I've went 2 weeks without speaking just to try it out, right? And I think that there are shortcuts to those types of experiences, and I think DMT is a shortcut to that type of experience, right? Stay up for 4 days straight, right? And focus on like it's gonna sound a little like hippy dippy, right? But like focus on like meditating on a flame, or focus on like one sentence in a book for 4 days straight. And tell me that you're not hallucinating, you're going to hallucinate, right? Like, so I think that things like ayahuasca, DMT, LSD, all these, they're shortcuts to experiences that we can access on our own. You know what I mean? So like through fasting, through staying up like long periods of time, through like those types of things, like, I don't know, like I feel like I've kind of opened up my mind to be able to like experience things and like understand some stuff out there that is harder to understand.
Well, haven't they proved too that your body like can produce DMT and that it can produce increased levels of it under certain
I
circumstances?
think so, but I'm going to be careful saying that because I know that Jamie will check me, so I don't really know.
Fact
Jamie,
check that.
checking him right
Jamie,
now.
don't fact check right now.
Dude, but
Jamie
you'd have
could not
to,
carry
you'd
this.
have to
He's
be,
over there
like,
making shorts.
Jamie might know.
you'd have to be like really physically strong to try to do that though.
Yeah.
Because like trying to stay up 4 days straight.
That's mentally strong. That's not physically.
Oh, sorry,
strong.
mentally.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
that's physically.
That's actually the thing.
It's
Is
more
like
mental.
that's
Everything's
like,
mental.
Recently, I haven't been because I've been exhausted from doing the thing that we're doing right now and trying to make that work, right?
Yeah.
But that's actually like a common thing. Like I can go 2-3 days without sleep and still function fairly well on the third day, no problem.
No, fuck.
I can't go more than
I go to
24.
sleep like at 2 in the morning, and
Yeah.
I wake up no later than 6. Like,
Yeah.
Look how
I
healthy
only,
you are.
I only
that
run like
explains a
I've
lot.
always ran on like really short, and I've never like I don't understand someone that tell me like, oh my gosh, I need to sleep 8-10 hours.
That's
I'm like,
'cause you're young still,
bro.
man.
Like, dude,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
more.
I've been
That's
doing
more
it for
youth
I've been
than
doing
anything.
it for so long.
That's
Yeah.
more youth
Like
than anything.
I only get a few hours of sleep, and I'm still like,
Oh, it's gonna catch up to you.
Okay, so
It's gonna catch up to you. Bad.
let's follow this through, right? So you do that. You've done this for so long. Have you gone through periods, not like a female, but like through periods of time where you spend like 3 months and you get 8 hours of sleep?
no.
Have you tested the opposite of what you do?
You're gonna feel really good, man.
You
Oh,
might
that's-
see a difference.
that's actually
So-
great. Yeah,
so you
yeah,
can't
yeah.
say that is better for you or that
Well, it's
you're
not that it's
great.
better- it's not
or
like
that
I
you
just don't-
operate.
You can operate on.
That's
it.
your
Yeah,
that's your normal.
I
I
don't
feel
do it
you.
on purpose. I don't wake up and like today I'm gonna go to bed at.
Well, when I was a kid, I had a lot of insomnia, and I think that's why because my brain just and I'd go running.
Doesn't turn off.
Yeah, like the funny thing, like my mom actually, when I was in high school, when I was in junior high, this is when I started getting like punk rock music, and I was like, oh yeah, like Down with Authority and like whatever, right? Like, and so like my grades all went down because like I don't need school, whatever, right? Like I was such a nerd. I would ditch school to go to the UNLV library in Las Vegas, and I'd just read books all day. That's like literally what I was doing. Just like a
rebel youth.
like a nerd, you know what I mean? And so anyways, so like I couldn't sleep at night, and my grades were dropping, and I'd go running. Like I would just go run like 10 miles, like just as a kid, because I just couldn't sleep. And I was like, that's how I'd wear myself out. So my mom she like there was one year, I think my 8th grade year. She'd take me to get a physical like every 3 months, and they'd like draw blood because she was convinced I
drug
was doing
testing
drugs.
you.
She was convinced I was doing drugs, and I had no idea until I was like in high school. And then she told me, she's like, "Yeah, I was just drug testing you."
They're like, why are they fondling me every time?
No, not like that.
That's what they, you go get
tested, man.
When they do a
John.
physical, they check your balls.
That's not
man.
a requirement. Dude.
No, you don't have to do that.
You don't have to do that.
No,
That's why I hated them.
you must check the box.
No,
They're like, cough.
yeah. Every time I've taken a physical, they've made me.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
that's not a
For
requirement.
sports, yeah.
Not a requirement.
I've never gotten my balls checked.
for
Like,
sports,
well, I
yeah.
should go get my balls checked.
Yeah, they don't even have to do that for sports.
Maybe
I'm
where
telling
you
you.
went. Maybe
I'm telling
where
you,
went.
they don't.
Well, this is.
Yeah, well,
I'm pretty sure that's a hernia check, isn't it? Isn't that how they
It's
like
a
check?
hernia check.
It's how they
Yes,
check for
I think
hernias,
so.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
There's other ways to check for hernias.
Oh, I got you.
Cough, cough away from me.
What's the other way so I can ask for that one?
Yeah, how do you get around that?
they can push in different parts on your stomach instead.
Yeah, because when I go to physical,
you
they
can
push
find
on
it,
my
yeah.
stomach.
You
They
can
push
find
on
it.
my
They do the
stomach.
stomach.
There's different
Noted
ways.
next time
There's
I
different
have
ways.
Yeah.
Granted, like
That's probably the best way.
probably it's probably the most accurate
the doctor's
because
like-
you're gonna feel it if you have
Yeah,
one.
because it's the most consistent, right?
Yeah.
the nurse. Why didn't you do it the other way? I just wanted to see if he was packing.
He's not.
You got a nurse?
He's like that guy.
Yeah, there ain't no nurse, bro.
It's Bob. Bob the big,
I was got this old
big
guy.
old farm hands.
We were talking about the hallucinating recently. This guy was talking about if you look like has to be a pitch black room, and you have to be looking into a mirror, and you'll start seeing stuff.
Oh, I
like
saw
your
something on
brain
that.
will start making you see.
You ever do the Bloody Mary thing? No.
No, I don't
No,
do that.
dude, that's how they say
I
that
did it,
the
nothing happened.
Native Americans, I had a class, and it was American history or something like that, and they talk about how they would go, the Native Americans go in the cave, and then just be in there for so long in the dark with their eyes open. So they would start drawing whatever they saw.
Yep.
That's why there's like a repetition pattern in a lot of things that they would do in the caves.
The different
like,
caves.
Yes,
Yeah.
sensory deprivation,
Or
man. It's a
maybe
huge
'cause-
thing. You take away
Have
a
you done one of
sense,
those
right?
things?
I've never done an actual sensory deprivation.
I wanna try
thing.
that.
Yeah, I think that'd be so cool. But like going into a dark cave, right? You're depriving. It's a sensory deprivation, right? And so yeah, like you're the way our brain works is we're problem solvers, right? Again, the efficiency thing, right?
Yeah.
We're always looking for efficiencies. We're always solving a problem. So your brain starts to solve a problem. Like I can't
doesn't
see.
exist.
I'm solving problems now, right? Like what? And then it starts making things up, right?
You think that's what happens when people do like these ghost hunting things?
No,
'cause
those,
you know
guys,
how-
those guys are just liars.
They're- yeah,
I agree
Straight
with
up,
you
bro.
on that one.
Straight up, bro.
they're
They're just
just
liars.
inventing
They're
shit.
just.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
but like say Jesus tells me that this place is haunted, so
Right.
we go and we want
Oh,
to go
okay,
see if
so
it's
you're saying-
haunted.
yeah, I got you. I got you.
Is it our brains telling us?
A lot of times,
Like
yes.
It's what you believe.
Well, here's the like I said,
think.
I'm a religious guy, so like my worldview would be like, oh no, there's like maybe there's something there, right? Like because for me there's like another realm, there's like another thing going on here, right? Like because as a religious guy, right? But like to answer that logically, I don't know how to answer that logically.
You see, religion is just their way of explaining to them what was real for them.
Explaining
And, yeah.
like how the world works in a certain way.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And so for them, like for you, it might be like that can't exist. But then science comes out and says there might be parallel universes. Who knows? Maybe that's what religion
And
is.
then maybe that's what religion is. Exactly. Like exactly. That could literally be
But
what
it's
religion
just
is.
their way of explaining it.
Exactly.
Because explain something that you've never seen before. You don't know what it's called. You don't know what any of the concepts are.
Yeah.
Explain it.
Yeah.
You can't. You explain it.
Explain a color that's never been seen
Yeah,
before.
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's what you're doing, right? Like it's a whole different experience.
Yeah, UFOs, same thing. Like,
Yeah.
there's a weird thing that you
This
saw
is
and you don't know
definitely
how
a
to
Joe Rogan
explain.
podcast.
Well, here's the thing with UFOs. Are there extraterrestrials on this earth? Probably not. Is there other life in the universe? Of
There
course.
has to be.
Yeah, of course.
Like that's so myopic of us to be like, yeah, we're the only living things in
yeah,
the
this
world.
planet
Like,
was the only one that
This
worked.
is the only one that worked in an infinite universe or an ever expanding universe. Like, nah, this is not.
Man, I would have loved to have Rob Ricks with.
yes,
too
that
bad.
would have been incredible.
He was super conspiracy theory.
had-
Oh,
he
was
had-
he? Oh,
yeah.
dope, dope.
Apparently,
Dope, yeah,
apparently
yeah.
we can't get a cruise to Antarctica. So
Yeah, so
just-
he
that's out there.
He was awesome,
He
though.
had
Well, because
this-
that ice wall, bro. It's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Nazis. They've got their base there.
He
and
was-
there's an ice wall.
God
He was-
forbid, and
yeah, you
we
don't
were
wanna fall off
Googling.
the
We were
end.
about to
Yeah,
book
yeah,
our
So
trip.
his take on it,
Yeah, he was far out there, but he was awesome to talk to.
Cool. That's fun.
his take on it was cool too because
Yeah.
he wasn't just saying I think the Earth is actually flat. He
Right.
was saying I think that this is a simulation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like
and
the Earth
because of
isn't.
that, the Earth is flat.
The simulation is flat, right?
yeah, the
that's
simulation
fun.
is
No,
not
he was awesome
actually
to talk to, man.
three-dimensional.
Here's
Yeah,
the
unfortunately,
fun.
he passed away.
Here's the fun thing with here's the fun. Did you say he passed away?
Yeah, he passed away last year.
That's a bummer. I didn't know. That.
Yeah.
Oh wait, it was. Oh, you're saying
Rob Rex.
Rob.
Yeah,
okay,
the Angry Jackalope.
Angry
Angry
Jackalope.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's the fun thing with conspiracy theories, though, is at minimum they're fun thought projects.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like I don't have to think lizard people this or that, but it's a fun thought project, right? It's a fun way to think about the world, right? Like, okay, wait, what if that was the world, or like how would this? You know what I mean? Like
It's
I-
it's
kinda
the
like
people that know that that's for a fact that you have to worry about.
yeah, that's it. Yeah,
But
yeah.
everything's you get extremes on everything.
Yeah.
People that love iPhones, you get extremism on people that love iPhones.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Leave me alone. Don't
Yeah.
pull me in this podcast.
And
like
you get
that.
people that
It's like,
it's
you-
the extremes that you,
you
have
don't
to
have
worry
an
about.
iPhone, you can't
Everybody
talk
in
about this.
between
Yeah.
usually gets along pretty damn good.
So
I
would you
agree.
say it's like reading a nonfiction book, like
What about reading a nonfiction book?
the conspiracy, like you know how you said like
Oh, yeah.
it's like
It's like philosophy,
Yeah.
right? Like it's problem solving, right?
There's-
It can be fun if the person you're talking to isn't like
Yeah.
this is exactly what it is,
Yeah.
and they're out to get us, and they're brainwashing us, and they're this and that. Well, like let's just talk about it, man. You know,
Because
like,
now you have a
don't
belief, yeah.
You don't have evidence that's going to convince me of what you're saying, but I'm totally down to hear what you have to say and have the conversation, right? Like because that's a big thing for me is like I just love connecting with people. Like I've done so many different jobs and like. I done a bunch of different stuff in my life. I'm always trying to learn something new because I love meeting people and then connecting on something, right? It's like, I kind of speak French. Like, oh yes, bro. And we start talking. It's like, sweet. Like now I got to know this person and know something about them. Right?
Craig is fluent in French.
Fromage.
Are you?
French, no.
Oh. No, I'm not fluent. I'm not fluent either. Let me be
Parlez-vous
clear.
français?
Yeah, I'm not-
Baguette, you know, like
Yeah.
no. French,
We-
I don't know shit.
Oui, ha, ha. Like,
Spanish,
one
of course, but French, no.
Your Spanish is really good, man. Like it's way better than mine, but it's really good. Yeah. I was jealous when I heard you
have-
talking. I was like, oh, this is better than mine.
I've been immersed.
His is better than mine
Spanish
too,
for a
so
long
don't feel
time.
too bad.
He hangs out with a lot of Hispanics.
I've been immersed for a long time in Spanish.
Yeah. Well, same. Like I grew up in Vegas, like in the hood, like that. All my friends.
Oh shit, you're from the hood.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
yeah,
and a rapper. That's
Yeah,
the
yeah. So, and like I grew up next to the second biggest lowrider club in Las Vegas. Like,
you
those,
really?
yeah, they were my buddies. Like, we just hanging out. You know what I mean?
So
And, like,
we were in the wrong. We're not hitting the right. You're more like what's that one?
Miklo?
That Hispanic rapper that just
Miklo
came
from
here.
Blood In, Blood Out? No.
That just
Somebody
came.
will get that.
Yeah. Oh, Mr. Capone.
oh,
He's good. Yeah.
I,
He's
I've heard Mr. Capone. Yeah,
He's
yeah,
not even Mexican.
Yeah.
He's not.
No,
Where's he from?
he.
Oh,
Exactly.
he's like a white guy.
I forgot where
That's
he's
funny.
from, but I think he's from over like India. Like
Really? He's not
Mexican.
I've never
We've been
seen him
living a
before.
lie.
I've just heard like a rap or two here or there. That's hilarious.
He's like Hector.
So he's like
Hector's
Middle
not
Eastern.
Mexican either.
yeah, he's not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hector's not Mexican?
No. The guy that plays Hector in every movie?
You guys are wrecking his world right now.
That's easy.
yeah.
Who's next?
This is like a daily. This is like
Who's next?
every episode.
Wait, are
we
you
do
talking about
this.
Hector in Fast and the Furious?
Yeah, he's not Mexican.
Wait, that bro's not Mexican?
No.
No,
What is
the,
he?
The dude that plays
Is he
Meg-
like Filipino or something?
No,
or-
I can't remember where he's from, but he's not Mexican.
No way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
look
it
him
might
up.
be Filipino.
Maybe. Look him up.
Well,
but
he's
he's
Because
like-
I know a lot of guys that play native dudes in Hollywood. At least for a long time, they were
dude.
Filipino. Actually, they were.
Yeah, a lot of
they were
the
actually native.
It's like the
Filipino
token Mexican
language
guy's not
has
Mexican?
The
That's
same
sad.
words.
Yeah,
He's like, well,
That's
he'd be a
wild.
good Mexican.
That's wild.
He fooled us all.
No, they were like, we can't get an
John's like,
actual.
so
My whole life's a
disappointed.
life now if Hector's not Mexican, bro.
They're like, we can't get a Mexican to
Can't
play
trust
a Mexican.
anybody anymore, man.
It is a simulation.
No,
It has to be. Yep, it has
dude,
to be.
I saw something about a simulation saying that
No
if you thought
Guglielmi.
about it,
Dude,
you
that's
never
like
saw your neighbor.
Italian.
You can never see your neighbor putting the groceries inside the house.
His name
because
is
it's a
Italian.
simulation.
That's
And
awesome, yeah.
I was so paranoid for a
He's
while
what?
until I saw my neighbor.
That's fun.
I was-
Is he?
He's like half Italian and Mexican. Check it out. Well, that's
Oh,
the
see,
name.
okay.
The name is his
Of
last name is
Italian and Mexican
Guglielmi.
descent, but it's like not
He was such a good.
Mexican,
He's too
Mexican.
good of a Mexican. to
Dude,
not be.
he's like a perfect like Southern California, Southern
Oh,
Nevada
okay.
Mexican.
Yeah,
dude,
he's-
you know
He was
what I mean?
abandoned by
Everybody-
his parents, so he became homeless and entered into the criminal. Oh shit! Okay, look him up. He's,
I'll look
it's
him up.
interesting.
I'll look
he's
him up.
he's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
really like positive guy too.
Cool. That's rad. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's weird.
This really turned into a whole Joe Rogan episode.
Anyway, knives.
Man.
You do stuff with knives.
I do stuff with knives. Knives are cool. I love knives.
What I wanted to ask you was, what'd you think?
Dude, I was like, honestly, I was just excited. Like, honestly, like, I've been a huge fan of Tops for, and I'm not just saying this because I'm here. Like, Craig knows this. We've talked over the many years, right?
Years,
Like,
yeah.
yeah. Like, I've been a huge Tops fan for a long time. So it was cool to see your guys' setup. We've been to a lot of different like factories, done factory tours. So it's always fun to see like how they're laid out, how things like transition, how things move. I'll say one thing that at least just the little walkthrough that we did, it was really cool to see like little different things, like the mirrors on your guys' grinder booths. I've never seen that before. Like I thought that was really cool. Or on your sharpening booth.
so that people don't.
Yeah. I was
Don't get
like,
startled.
it's a simple thing, but it's like really well thought out and kind of fun, right? Like it's a good way to like make that work and keep things efficient, right? Something else that I thought was actually the same area, just like the flexibility. A lot of times we go to shops and it's like, even when we're there for a shop tour, right? And they've paid like a bunch of money for us to come and film a documentary about them. It's like, we cannot interrupt process ever, no matter what. Okay, cool. That's a process. That's no problem. So like when I pulled my knife out for you guys to sharpen it, right? I was like, yeah, I'll just leave it here. I'll come back like after the podcast and everything. It's like, nah, let's just throw a new belt on and just do it now. I was like, dope. Like that was so cool. You know,
I
like-
just showed it to
Yeah.
Carlos.
And he's like, grabs
he
it.
nods and grabs it and just starts sharpening it. Yeah.
Yeah, so
It's
he
nice
kinda
to be
knows.
small enough to be able to.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing is like everybody, like some places have this as well, like where everybody feels like family. Like it feels like everybody gets along. Obviously, it's a workplace. Everybody doesn't get along all the time. I'm aware of that, right? Just the
Right,
vibe, right? And then like you walk into some places and you're like, oh, this is a place of business, and like people come and then they leave, and that's it. That's the end of that interaction, right? And like you definitely get a family feel here. Like you definitely get like people, at least on the surface, it's like my initial impression, it seems like people are like cared for. You know what I mean? And that's cool. I think that's really cool.
Did
So-
you go to
Yeah, no,
Did you go to the
that's
other
legit.
building?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
no.
fuck those guys.
Yeah. he told me, he's like, yeah, they're like the underlings. We don't go there. So I was like, all right, I'm just kidding.
We never said that, guys.
That building is cool though. That, like,
kidding.
The
That's where
all the
CNC
fun- yeah,
machines.
that's where all
That
the
the,
stuff-
the way we do sandblasting over there is
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
like my favorite part of the whole
Oh,
thing.
we're being.
Well, we gotta come back and tell a full top story, not just do pocket checks sometime.
Yeah.
Like I was talking about with the channel. That's what we need to do, and then we can do all that. I think it'd be awesome.
That family thing, though, that's legit.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fucking hate these guys.
Because the only
Yeah.
reason we're able to give each other shit like this
Yeah.
is because we trust each other.
Correct
that-
my
that-
uncle.
Yeah.
No, for real.
Nice, right on.
It's not for real.
For real.
It's kind of for real, but not.
not
You know,
for
it's
real.
one of those things.
It's more real than a joke.
It's not for real at all.
He
It's
hates
not
it,
like
man.
it's
His
like
wife
0%
is his
for real.
wife's
And
aunt.
I mean,
No,
That's
but
real.
it's not
Yeah.
like it's not like
right.
it's not like
he likes to sugarcoat it.
okay. So
He just doesn't want to take ownership of you. That's what it is.
Yeah, that absolutely. Ant is not even close to.
Yes,
what
she
it
is. He's trying
If-
to go against.
What if
the
you're saying that
grandma-
my wife is your wife's aunt? That means that your wife's mom is my wife's sister.
cousin?
That's not what an aunt is.
A few
Here it's cousin once removed, 3 times removed,
Yeah.
first cousin, 7th
Right.
cousin.
we're
17
talking
times removed.
probably like
ladies,
5 times
ladies,
removed.
ladies,
No.
ladies, calm down. All right.
No, but yeah, but that's legit.
Yeah.
The family thing, that's legit.
Yeah.
Whether
true.
you're here or not, that's how it is.
Yeah.
And it's
Somehow
That's one of the things
someone's
I love the
related
most
to
about
someone.
It really feels that way. And again, it's initial impression, right? Like scratch the surface, but like it really felt that way. And I mean, like even at the trade shows, like the time that we've spent time in, like seeing you guys at the trade shows and like with Leo and everything, like it always feels that way. You know what I mean? I've always got that sense that like, I mean, like when you guys go to Vegas, you guys are like cooking breakfast for each other, and you know what I mean? Like that's cool. You know what I mean? Like that's a cool.
Yeah,
thing.
we
So-
at Tulsa we made dinner and breakfast one day at
Yeah.
the house,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and we rent a house.
yeah,
because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
more comfortable.
Yep.
We don't like hotel rooms. When you have companies that go to a thing like that and everybody has a hotel room,
Yeah.
they don't hang out.
Yep.
They hang out at the show and then they go do their
Because
thing.
you're tired, and
Maybe
they just like
they-
go to your room. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
maybe they go to dinner
Maybe.
together. Probably not.
Yep.
They all have their own thing going on, and they all go do their own thing. That's like for us. That's weird.
Yeah.
Even at a SHOT Show, when there's 10 of us there, we're together the whole day.
Yeah.
We go
Yeah.
to breakfast. We do the books after the show. We eat dinner together. We're family while we're there.
hang
like
out,
at
play
Blaze Show, we
pool.
hung out and talked for like 3 hours. And it was almost 1, and we're like, dude, we should probably get some sleep.
Probably get to bed.
yeah, and it's like
We were
don't
just
even-
hanging out. We
Yeah,
weren't doing
it's
anything.
it's not like we were doing a podcast.
No, we were just hanging out, talking like
We'll have
this.
cigar
cool.
night. We'll have a drink.
Yeah.
Like it's literally.
Nah, yeah, that's fine.
And that comes off. You know what I mean? That comes off when you like just walking through the door and like a little bit of interaction. You're like, oh, okay. Like
So
I
that was-
kind of get that. You know?
That was kind of my other question. From you, from an outside perspective, how do you see us like on social? Because we try to be as real as we can,
yeah.
and we know some people get it. Like the Top's Nice part, we always try to keep that PG.
Yeah.
Try not to be too out there. Because Top's like, yeah, we don't give a shit. But,
Right,
but this other part, we do care
course.
because they can choose to see our more wild side, I guess.
Yeah.
But how do you see us from your point of view as a marketer and as just a fan?
Yeah. So I don't think I've ever really engaged with you guys much on social
hates us.
media.
He doesn't like it.
Yeah. Thank you for another episode.
Hey, I'm an honest guy. The
truth
and this is the honest answer. I haven't really engaged with you guys much on social media. That's the honest answer, right? I do follow you guys and I do hit your stories every day. And that's something I like. I like to see the reposts. I like to see what different people in the community are doing, right? Like the Sneaker Reaper.
Sneak Reaper,
Yeah, the Sneak Reaper, right? Like I told you, I was like, oh, I saw that on your story like, I don't know, a month ago or 2 months ago, whenever it was.
Yep.
And I actually, that might have been how I found him originally. Like, was maybe a story from like even longer ago that you guys
Yeah,
have
see,
done.
we liked him before he was cool. So
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Kind of hipsters. Yes.
Yeah. So I engage with you guys through story, and I love to see like basically that community feedback you have going in the stories with the reposts and things like that. To be 100% honest, as far as like main feed stuff goes, you know how the algorithm works.
Yeah.
I don't ever really see you guys, right? And I haven't ever really engaged with you guys on that front. Where all of my engagement has been trade shows, right?
Yep.
And then like I was lucky enough to have a warehouse that had all the Topps knives in it at one point, and I would literally go get them and put them on my desk and just handle them and be like, my Carta and Big Steel, oh my gosh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's always been my experience with your guys' brand. So like from a brand perspective, I think that having marketed your knives, right? Having enjoyed your knives and then having like worked outside of both of those realms, right? I think that you guys do a really good job at identifying like this is who we are and this is what we do. And I think as a brand, that's like one of the best things you can do, right? Like this is what we are and this is who we are. This is what we do. And I think little things like the employee knife design contest and stuff. Dude, that's awesome, right? And I actually wish I saw more of that. Like, I feel like we touched bases on it with the bull trout because I gravitated to the bull trout personally, and so I was pushing it because I was like, dude, bull trout, you guys got to see this thing, you know? Yeah. And it has this awesome story. I don't think I've seen anything about it since. Like, and I'm sure you guys have done it, right? But like, I just personally haven't seen it. You know,
it
what
just
I mean?
was so many knives.
Yeah.
That each one only gets a little bit of airtime, and so it's more of that. We have to recycle stuff so that.
Yep.
Because a lot of people haven't never seen it before.
And that's the thing is like I don't know if people I don't know how many casual Topps fans know that you guys have this rad thing going on, right? That like is that's like a huge company thing. Like it's like what other companies doing that? I don't know anybody else in the knife world doing that personally.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Yeah, like I think it's awesome, right? Like so I think that you guys have a lot of great story. Like I said, I think you do a really good job at like this is who we are, this is what we do, and I think that comes across great. But I think there are all these little story elements that I would love to see like more of. You know what I mean?
That's good feedback because we can do that.
Yeah, I think it's great.
And some of that stuff we do. It's just you don't get to see it.
And that's the thing is like if again going back to the feed, right? Like if I'm not going to your page directly, chances are you're like I'm not seeing your stuff. You're not seeing my stuff. Like unfortunately, that's the way of the world right now. You know what I mean? But I do see your stories and I do enjoy the stories. Yeah.
Is there something that you would besides the stories, something you'd like for us to do more that you would be like, hey, that'd be cool if you guys did more of this or more of that? I honestly think it's those little story elements, right? Like I think that you guys have enough history at this point that I would love to see. So I'm not going to talk bad about. I don't ever talk bad about anybody. So when I say this, it's from a constructive standpoint, right? Of course. So for example, K-Bar, right? K-Bar leans. I think that they lean too much into their history, right? They're hanging their hat on something that they could be doing a lot more with, in my opinion, right? Love K-Bar. They do their thing. Fine. It's great. Whatever. Right. That's just an observation as a marketer. Right. I think that you guys have enough history, and maybe you're doing this and I'm just not seeing it. Right. I think that you guys have enough history that I really think that you guys should start touching more a little bit more on these points. Right. And there's certain things we can't.
Yeah. No. And exactly.
And that's what sucks too.
Yeah. No. And
the coolest stories.
Yeah.
Can't.
Yeah, and that's a real thing, right? And so like finding the ones that you can and telling those stories, like again, like the employee made knife stuff. I'd love to see more stuff like that. You guys just did a redesign of the. It was one of your first designs. You just
Steel Eagle.
The Steel Eagle.
The Steel Eagle,
smaller one.
Yeah, the smaller Steel Eagle, right? Like I saw like one thing about that.
They haven't come out yet.
Yeah, so that's probably why, right? But like that's an example. Like using that as an example as a story piece where it's like there's a story on this knife. What's the story?
Oh
right?
man,
Tell that
if
story.
we had made it to the other building today, you would have seen
Fuck this.
piles of Steel Eagle 105s getting made.
Cool, that's exciting.
Lots of Steel.
That's super exciting.
Can we do like a deep dive of next year's employee design? Like what inspired that?
I like the deep dive
That's the
part.
mermaid. That's the mermaid thing that we're gonna be doing next year. Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
So
Because I want to know the history of that knife.
yep.
I won this year's design.
Did you?
Yeah.
You can't.
Oh, that's exciting.
That's spoiler, man.
We already
what the
told
fuck,
told it on the podcast.
Did we?
No,
Yeah,
but
we
spoilers
did.
to him. He doesn't
I didn't
listen
see
to it.
Yeah. Dang it. I've listened to a couple. I've listened to a handful.
Oh yeah, which
I really
one?
have.
Yeah, which one?
Which one?
It's quiz time.
Listen to the one with Ed.
That one's a good one.
Everybody
Listen to
said
the
that
one with.
I haven't listened to the one with that.
They all have like
Great moments.
great moments. It's just they're long. Like
Yeah.
for example, me, I do this podcast. I'm not a fan of podcasts that much. Like I don't really listen to that many podcasts.
Right.
And it's weird because he's he listens to more podcasts and doesn't really listen to audiobooks.
Right.
And it's just to me it's strange, but
It's so weird to
Yeah.
hear a book rather than read it. I don't know.
yeah. So
Yeah, for me, books are journals. So I read books and I underline and I write stuff in. Like if any one of my books on the shelf, like I have not a library because that makes me sound rich, and I'm definitely not. What I mean by libraries, I have a lot of books in boxes and on the floor and on shelves.
Oh, the library.
Yeah. Oh, library.
I used to do that too, write the notes, but then I had to take them back to the library.
Yeah.
They got mad. You know?
Funny story. In college, I ended up buying a lot of books because I would just forget. Like I'd be just tired or working, and I'd start writing them. And like, oh well, I guess I'm buying this book from the
Mine.
library.
Oh shit.
Yep.
But yeah, they're journals to me. Like I love it. And then you come back to them, right? And then it's like 2 years later you haven't read the book. I have books that I read seasonally. Like I'll like read certain books every time during a certain part of the year.
Yeah.
And I come back to it and it's like new notes. You know, it's like
It's just tough now because there's so much stuff trying to get
yeah.
your attention.
well, and that's it. And like so again,
yeah.
it boils back down to intentionality,
Yeah.
right? Like you have to be intentional with your time. You have to be intentional with like what actually makes me happy? What doesn't distract me, right? Because we have an economy of distraction, right?
Yeah.
What doesn't distract me? What actually makes me happy, right?
See, I
and
think
you have
that-
to, and those are the things you have to choose, right?
That's
Like,
why
yeah.
we have to keep the dick jokes more like minimal so that we can get to the important content faster. And then we don't waste people's
dick jokes are funny.
We don't waste
funny.
people's time.
They're funny, but
You front load it with the cat memes.
why are you
and
saying
then,
me? He's the one that brought it up.
I'm gonna go back.
He's the
and
one
I'm
that
gonna try
brings
to
it up.
pinpoint.
I know.
I'm gonna pinpoint who starts them.
It's always me.
It's probably.
I have a question for
It's
you.
usually- if Leo's here, it's usually
Wait. I have a question for you, and you can be completely honest because
He hates
one
you.
one of my biggest things that I do.
He doesn't like you.
I-
It's
I'm
like
having
he
a
likes-
great time. That's my complete honest right now.
and I don't know if I'm guilty of this, but I consume so much content from besides food. But I will Google. I will research every company out there. Like
Right.
if I see them at a show,
Right.
I will keep an eye on them for as long as I can,
Yeah.
and then I'll find someone else or all TikTokers or like your page, your YouTube page. I stumbled across. A few months ago, early on, and I went to Craig's office and like, oh look, he's doing this. He's like, yeah, we keep in touch, and I didn't know that, so I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
And then I'll move on to the next person, and I'll try to find someone new, and in every platform, and like I'm just digesting. But personally, what company's killing it, and no matter what industry, like what company's killing it.
Yeah,
I
like
have a-
Very careful.
Nah,
no,
to be honest.
no,
Be,
no,
be
'cause I have
completely
a
honest.
company. I have a company in my head
Right.
now, and maybe we're thinking about the same company, and
Right.
maybe we're all thinking about the same company.
Just
but
let him
it's
answer.
killing it.
Are you
Ferrari.
saying in any industry, or are you saying in our industry?
Our industry oriented. I mean,
Yeah. What company is killing it right now? And what do you mean? Are you mean by like their
Like,
marketing
just-
presence, their
just-
sales, their?
How many bodies they have?
They're,
yeah.
they're everywhere.
I mean, because I'm pretty sure every knife company or every
Darpa.
company is doing really good.
Right.
But what company's killing it in that they're in your face?
They're in
and
your
they're
face.
doing it good.
That's hard
Because
because you have to consider algorithms, right? Like,
Yeah.
because I think me and Edgar have like the same company in mind. Like I don't know why, but
Why don't you just tell him what you want him to say?
No,
Yeah.
no.
I know.
Because he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to influence his answer.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
get it.
That's
I
true.
get
That's true. That's true. I was gonna say I'm actually more interested to hear what you have to say than
Yeah,
whatever I'm
me
thinking.
too,
You know what I
actually.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Go with yours. Go with yours. I
Okay.
want to hear
Because
yours.
John's actually really good at following people and actually digesting their content and stuff. He's good at that.
Yeah,
I-
like breaking down what they're doing and why they're
Yeah.
doing it. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I look up companies and be like, oh, they should be doing it. Like I like what you said about the history thing.
Yeah.
There's more than one company that does that, and
Yeah.
I'm like, that's cool. Like, but you also have other cool stuff.
Yep.
But for me, not knife company, not gun company, but Black Rifle.
Yeah.
Like I don't like coffee. I could care less about coffee, but they're just marketing. Could not care less from that. Just their marketing, probably in the last year and a half, maybe. Let's say 2 years has been really good just to being in your face.
Yep.
In everything.
Yep.
Like you go to any outdoor store, any type of store, you see their stuff, you see everything. And before they even went public.
Yeah.
Like they were just going all out.
No, I would agree with you, and I think that what they have going for them is they had a clear mission statement, right? Like they had a very clear mission statement of like what we're doing and how we're doing it and why we're doing it, and then not only that, but they identified and captured a loyal audience early because as veterans, right? they're going to attract a veteran community. And there are other veteran-owned coffee makers and stuff. Like Invader is another one, right? That Wes Whitlock or whatever does out of Texas. But like they were able to capture this community, right?
Yeah.
They were able to identify and correctly identify with that community, right? Be part of the community because they already were, right? Because they're veterans, most of them. And then they stayed true to their core principles that helped that community, right?
Yeah.
And like that's the thing is when we're talking marketing, when we're talking authenticity, when we're talking content, any of that, like. And when we're talking like a post iOS 14 update world and a post Meta world, dude, community. That's all you got when it comes to marketing. You know what I mean?
And I like personally, who I thought that was going to be the Black Rifle was Pit Viper.
Yeah.
I thought Pit Viper.
They're too niche.
It's too cotton candy. That's the problem with Pit Viper. It's not too niche. I actually think that Pit Viper could have done it.
Yes,
but they kept it too cotton candy. They didn't hone in.
They were like going for the moon, and then something happened, and
It was all a joke, and it never changed from a joke to being something
That's
else.
the thing is it was a joke, and they couldn't believe the joke did so well, and then they never made it not a joke.
Yep.
That's what happened with Pit Viper.
Yep.
But you know who I think is killing it even more than Black Rifle? Liquid Death.
yes, oh yeah,
Liquid Death all day.
He influenced your answer.
Yeah.
He chose another drink.
no, but they do have a great marketing.
Those guys. And the interesting thing about them is they didn't start with a captive audience. They didn't start with a community built, kind of a built-in community, right?
They've been around for.
I thought it was a
bit.
beer
Yeah.
for the longest time.
Yeah.
No, right? And that's part of it, right? That's part of the thing.
You still look at it like, why is that with the water?
Yeah. Like I literally got carded buying a Liquid Death like just 2 months ago, and I was like, "No, dude, this is a water, bro."
The whole time, for the longest time, until someone told me it was a water, I was like, it's not a water. And they're like, it's water.
just water, yeah.
Do you guys want the $1 million idea? Because I don't have money to do it. So if any of you guys have any money, here's the million. This is actually more than $1 million idea. You see what Liquid Death's done with water, right? Okay. So they've Liquid Death has taken on like Red Bull. Like they're at all the events now. They're like, they're doing it, right? However, right? These athletes are still like burning the candle at both ends, right? They're still like needing extra energy, all these other things. So they're still drinking energy drinks, right? But energy drinks make you feel like crap, especially like some sponsored Monster athlete who's been drinking Monsters for 10 years. Like that's not going to taste good anymore, right? Caffeinated water. It's got caffeine in it.
Aren't there people doing that?
There are people doing it, but not like Liquid Death. You do Liquid Death, but caffeinated water.
Yeah,
so it's cool, it's punk rock, it's sexy, it's extreme, and just like Liquid Death is, but then you get the caffeine. You could crush Liquid Death if you did that. I mean, it'd take you a couple years.
Somebody
you know what I mean?
he's saying somebody that does it right.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like because like
You can't
'Cause
just come out with it.
I think
there is some that I drink
LaCroix.
right now.
I think LaCroix does like a caffeinated water. You know what I mean? But it's
Who
not
wants to
sexy,
drink LaCroix though?
right? You feel me? Tony Hawk's
I
not.
probably would, huh?
Tony Hawk's not drinking LaCroix. You know what I mean? Like Tony Hawk's
That sounds
drinking
like-
Liquid Death, right?
Jesus is drinking
That sounds like my
LaCroix.
media manager would drink that.
that sounds somebody. I drink.
LaCroix.
What's that other one that you drink?
Oh, the Le Perrier.
Oh,
Perrier.
Perrier.
Perrier water.
Yeah, I can't do it, man. I can't if a peach burps in another room and then they put that in a can, it's not for me.
You know what? You know what's funny in Germany?
Yeah.
To find regular water that's not carbonated is difficult.
Well, you have to ask, right?
Yeah.
It's like when me and Jamie were actually in Germany, and I'm not a carbonated water guy, and so the first couple times I realized I have to ask for can I have flat water? You know?
Yeah.
And then they
you
look at you like, what an idiot
Yeah,
American.
but if you go to but if you go to like a grocery store,
Oh, yeah,
you have
good
to,
luck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
like a whole aisle of carbonated water, and then like around the corner is
It's
the
called
regular
heaven,
water.
my friend.
I literally I literally just drank what was it organique or whatever it's a French drink. It's just an orange drink. That's what I drank the whole time I was in Europe because I was like I can't
You couldn't
find
find water. yeah,
I was just drinking juice all day. Like
yep. Yeah, it's a weird thing.
That sounds like heaven too.
Dehydrated.
I was
Capri Suns?
dehydrated when I got home.
Capri Sun should make this.
Yeah, check out his
I'm
Capri
a,
Sun right there.
I'm a
Yeah, I like
Capri
it.
Sun- oh, fuck.
Because he's an adult now.
Yeah,
They should make a pouch
Makes
that's
sense.
like
they were
adult
making
sized.
fun of me the other day
but
that
still
like I buy like
childish.
these drinks, but I'm like I
Yeah,
got
but,
married.
like, this big.
Now I have
It's
like
just a baggie.
big kid money. Like I,
Right.
I can buy whatever I wanted as a
Right.
kid, and so I'll roll up with juice boxes. And
Yeah,
like,
Oh,
Capri
bro,
Sun
I'll-
should do something bigger than 4 ounces.
I'll go get a Slurpee any day.
As much
I'll
as
go get
I get a Slurpee all the time when we go to the gas stations in the
as
summer.
much as I shit on him,
Yeah.
I respect that.
Yeah.
Because you're being an adult means you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Hot
So if
Pockets,
you
yeah.
want a Capri Sun, get a Capri
Yeah, when
Sun.
you're a kid and you wanted a piece of cake and your dad yells that you can't have cake, I'll go buy 2 cakes, throw one in the street.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I got that money. But
Got those big dollars now. Sure,
So-
probably never said that.
So Zach, we're gonna wrap this up.
Cool.
But last thing, where can people find you? Like,
He's right here.
what's next?
Maybe tell
Do
them where
you
they can
have,
find
like-
us.
do you have, like-
We're the problem.
yeah, help us out. Like, but what's next? Do you have merch? Are you working on products that you're gonna start selling? Is that like you more just want to create and leave that stuff to somebody else? Like,
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. So yeah, Zach in the Wild. You can find me on all the things, right? Zach in the Wild. Big thing right now is YouTube. We're doing a lot of YouTube videos, and then yeah, I mean things coming up. We have a lot in the works, but it's all top secret right now.
Okay.
But end of January, we've got something really exciting coming. We're just waiting for a couple little things to happen on that front. So we got some really exciting stuff coming end of January, and then we're working on some stuff. I actually got an idea for you guys, so we'll see where that goes. But so a lot of cool stuff coming. I can't talk on.
He's buying Twitter
just
Yeah.
yet.
and so
I
Zach
already bought Twitter. I'm Elon Musk.
Rip off the mask.
So Zach spelled the way Zach should be spelled is just ZAC.
ZAC.
It's not Zach or Zach.
My mom knew I was only smart enough for 3 letters. ZAC. Zach in the Wild.
You should make camo merch.
Camo merch.
Like jungle oriented.
Yeah, I don't know if merch is the way, but we do have some really cool stuff in the works. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled. We should be announcing some stuff here shortly, but I don't want to jump the gun. So
Yeah. It was fun meeting you from
it was
from my
fun.
point of view. It was awesome.
No, it's been
we see you.
It's been great.
but-
It's been great, like hanging out and everything. Honestly, like it's been a good time. This was a blast. Like I don't get to talk like this all the time because you talk knives, right? Like
Yeah.
we talk about knives.
Yeah.
So this was fun to come on and just be like, hey, let's talk about like DMT and let's
Yeah.
civil liberties and I don't
UFOs,
know,
monkeys.
philosophy and jars and vats.
We went
and
through it all.
Yeah, we're glad you were able to do that.
it was a lot of fun.
It was a test.
I've appreciated it. Yeah.
Sounds good. Hopefully you can be back one day.
Cool.
All right, see you guys.
And if you want your dick jerked,
Damn it.
just let me know.
Wrong button.
My bad.